I mean, let's just go 30 seconds early because, you know, I'm excited about this. I got a fistful of carpet pythons. I got a new camera setup that we're testing. Hi everybody. I'm just gonna wait to see if people can see and hear me. It takes a little bit before the comments start coming in. Hi Fizzy. I mean, there's been comments already for the last, I don't know, couple hours maybe. I'm drinking the Green Room Pythons coffee. I saw somebody. Oh, good, loud and clear. Great, thanks, Jake. Somebody was asking if they had tried the Green Room Pythons coffee yet. That's linked below if you want that. Not just the mug, which you can get the mug, but you can also get the coffee right here. Is the coffee from Cold Blooded Caffeine Company. It's a blend that I hand selected. We talked about it in the last live stream. I was launching it in the last live stream. And so I think people have tried it because there were some sales of it. And I like it a lot. But okay, so I've got a fistful of carpet pythons right now. And it's Bella and Koa. A carpet python and a Brettles python is what I've got. I had this idea 2 minutes ago. I had this idea. I got Bella out because I thought, oh, I'll start with her. And then I thought, why don't I just bring the snake tree over and we'll get Bella and Koa on the snake tree. So we'll do that here in a little bit eventually. So, oh wait, am I fuzzy, Amanda? Really, you guys? Is the picture not good? Dang it. Okay. I'm gonna try to fix this. I'm gonna change. How do I do this? It's very fuzzy, huh? Okay. I'm gonna change my dang it. Let's just wait a second. And if I need to, I'm going to change my internet, which means that I've got to jump off and then jump back on, which is going to suck. But I thought that I had fixed it. I got an extender that was supposed to fix it, but apparently it's not if it's fuzzy like this still. And I don't know if taking it off the extender is going to fix it. I don't think it'll make it worse though. You know? So let's just see. Let's just give it a minute and see what happens. But that was going to be the exciting new thing is we weren't going to have any more fuzziness. So little frustrating that that's not happening right now. Such a bummer. It was good and then it went super fuzzy. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna unplug this thing. I don't know if it's gonna cut me out and then I have to come back on or what it'll do, but we're gonna get rid of this device. So give me just a minute. Hope you guys can hang for this. Okay. Are we back on? Okay, we should be back on. I'm just gonna wait till somebody tells me, yeah, but only slightly better. Yeah, so we're back to the normal situation. I didn't think that buying an extender would make it worse. Like, I thought that it was going to make it better. So now we're back to the normal situation where we might have a little bit of fuzziness during this. And what's happened the last few live streams is it cuts in and out. So I will work on it again and hopefully have it fixed by next live stream. So it, unfortunately, there will be moments of fuzziness, but oh good, as Zara saying, it's much better. Such a bummer. I bought a thing, I bought a device, I thought it was going to work. But okay, so this is where we're at. We've got the Green Room Pythons coffee that I'm drinking. We're not doing commercials for Green Room Pythons coffee, though. I also have whiskey with me. Not Scotch this time. I've got my favorite Irish. This is Green Spot. And if you enjoy whiskey, especially if you enjoy Irish whiskey, I highly recommend that you try Green Spot. My other favorite is Redbreast, which is great, but and it's kind of tied with Green Spot. I think I like Green Spot a little bit better though. So sláinte. Okay. Alexandria just bought the Handsome Dan t-shirt. I'm so glad you got it. There's two different designs of Handsome Dan is not a Python. So I'm curious which design you got. But our very own Amy Bentley made those designs. She drew the Handsome Dan artwork. She's not here right now because she's working, but I saw that Brady's here. Her husband, Brady, hi Brady, is in, but Amy's still at work and she said she might be for another hour or so. So she'll probably be in here later. And if she is, we will get her on screen and say hello to her. And yeah, Brady's saying, sorry, Amy isn't here yet. Yeah, she just sent me a message saying that she'd probably be in another hour or so. She's got a lot of work going on right now. Monica's asking, what are the Handsome Dan t-shirts? So there are in the Green Room Pythons merch store, which if you're watching this on YouTube on your computer, it might show up on your phone also. But if you look just below, you'll see kind of what looks like an advertisement for the merch store. It'll show t-shirts and stuff like that. And there's Handsome Dan t-shirts in that. I got 2 snakes going on the glasses. My guess is these are coming off. Ryan, thanks for the super chat. Can you say hi to Presley, please? And she loves your beard. Hi, Presley. Hello. Thanks. I'm glad you enjoy my beard. I like it as well. It took a while to grow. I'm glad you and Presley are watching this. Oh, now we're going into the glasses. Okay. So right against my eye and the glasses for Koa. Snakes enjoy glasses because it's something that they can hang on to. They see it as like a perch and they don't realize that they're just going to pull it off your face, you know? I kind of wish they would notice the hat because it'd be much more comfortable if they just crawled up onto the hat, you know? So Ryan, thanks for that super chat. And by the way, for those of you who are new to the live streams, this is how it works. Most of the time I don't see the chats, except I just saw Manuela's. So hello, Bob. Can you say hi to Siobhan? Yes. Hi, Siobhan. Glad you all are watching. Hi, Siobhan. Okay. Glasses are coming off. Actually, you know what? They are coming off, but I'm just going to show these snakes the hat real quick, and then we'll finish talking about what I was talking about. So most of these comments I'm not going to see until tomorrow. I will read them tomorrow. So if you just want to say something to me that I'll probably read tomorrow, go for it. If you have a question and you want me to answer it, super chat it, because I'll definitely see it because the super chats are highlighted. But if you just have a question that you want answered, ask your question. And even if I don't see it, there's other very experienced people in the chat that can answer your question. So just monitor the chat after you ask and see if anybody answers it. So that's that. Oh, good. There goes Koa up on the hat. Now, the thing with tiny snakes on the hat is I can't feel them. Like I can't feel their weight. Can't tell really where they're at. So I have to just sort of keep an eye on what they're doing. Great. Okay. So what else did we do? So we're going to feed some snakes tonight. We're feeding, I can't remember exactly who. I actually have a ton of snakes to feed, but we're not going to feed them all on here. But, you know, I figure if I'm doing a live stream and it's feeding day for certain snakes that are interesting to watch eat, we'll try and do it on the live stream. So Stella is getting some food tonight. So we're going to feed a super dwarf reticulated python. We're going to give Maya a couple of quail tonight. So we got a black-headed python that's going to eat some food. And then I think I have a tiny snake, maybe Pip. I don't remember. But I know I'm thawing out some small meals. So Pip, Harry might be eating. So we can feed them in my hand, you know, as we've done in the past on these live streams. That won't be until later in the live stream, though. It's not going to be right now. Especially, you know, the main reason is I want to be able to get snakes out and have them not be food crazy. And if I start feeding snakes, then there's going to be the smell of rodent or quail in the room, and then everybody's going to want food. So we'll do that later in the live stream. I got Bella going into the pocket. Yeah, that works nicely. And Koa on the hat. Great. Great, great, great. The Metal 966 asking about genetics for a male super dwarf retic. Yeah, I actually have I've got plans for Echo this season. This season, maybe next season. She may not be ready this season, but I am getting a snake at some point that's coming in as a breeder loan, and more on that later. And there are certain genetics, but I don't want to talk about it here. Yeah, more on that later because I'm going to do a dedicated video on it. So the other thing we're going to do that I hadn't planned on doing. Oh my gosh, Bella's just in my pocket right now, you guys. What? Yeah, I know. Eric Lee definitely has some heat. I know he's got some awesome snakes. So the other thing that we're going to do that I hadn't planned on doing is I'm going to show you some of the new clutch that just hatched. They just shed. And I have some new snakes here in the green room. And Patreon knows everything. I was talking about the other day on Patreon, I was talking about a main character snake that I have here in the green room. That, you know, I have a lot of snakes here, and some make occasional appearances. They're like co-stars or guest stars. And then I have main character snakes. Echo and Stella are main character snakes. I think when these two get bigger, they'll be main character snakes. The inspector who lives in there, he's a main character. So I have a new main character snake. I'm going to do a dedicated video about that snake. So we're not going to show him now. Actually, you know what I can do? So wait, let me finish my thought. Then I'll go back to that. My point is, some of the new snakes that I have just hatched out. So I'm going to show you those babies, including the one that I'm holding back. I am doing a dedicated video about that clutch because we have some genetic testing involved. But I'll show you those. Katie, I was not in Africa. You are confusing me with Dave Kaufman, which I can't believe anyone would do. I'm so much better looking than Dave Kaufman. Dave is still in South Africa, I think. I don't think he's back yet. But so I'm going to show you those snakes. And then here's what I was going to do, because I have a shed from this snake that I'm not showing you yet, but I'll show you the shed and you can guess what it is. Here's the shed. Actually, some of you big time snake nerds could probably tell what kind of snake this is based on this shed. Dedicated video coming out about that snake soon. If you're in the Horde of Keepers, don't spoil it. You guys are banned from guessing on this one because you already know. You've already seen them. Beer truck, how dare you? How dare you? Thanks, Amanda. Yeah, I think I decided that I'll show that snake in this live stream. I wasn't going to, but I will. So we got all kinds of surprises coming up. Guess who is asking about the size of ball python enclosure? After this question, then I'm going to stop answering these questions and I'm going to get to the Patreon Q&A. This is a good question, though. You know, it depends on the snake. It's not really the size of the snake, because there are babies that would do just fine in a 4x2x2. It's got to have a lot of clutter, and that, you know, they have to feel comfortable. And there's some babies won't do well in a 4x2x2. Some adults wouldn't do well in a 4x2x2 if they're super shy. That's rare. Most of them will do fine in it. But you know, it kind of just depends on the personality of the snake. And I know that's tough when you're getting a snake and you don't know their personality. So what I always tell people is, if they're getting a baby and they want to try them in the 4x2x2, go for it. But if the baby doesn't eat after several attempts, you may have to put them in a little tub for the time being, so that they can start eating in the tub and feel more comfortable. And then you do a thing where you bring the tub into the 4x2x2, take the lid off, and let them decide what they want to do. So that is the thing to do. Katie, thanks for the super chat. I thought you went with them. My mistake. I said my mistake. Yeah, I didn't go with. It was Clint and Dave. So maybe you were mistaking me for Clint, which is a much better compliment. I'd rather be mistaken for Clint Laidlaw than Dave Kaufman. So don't tell Dave I said this. He never watches my videos. He'll never see it. He is having a ridiculous time in South Africa, though. I was texting with him the other day. And I am super jealous. They went swimming with sharks. Come on, it's amazing. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to switch cameras, because one thing about this setup, even though the internet thing didn't work, but one thing is I've got a new camera, and so I'm using a good camera now as my B cam. And just going to put this little snake. Hang on. He's wrapped on my tail. Just going to put this little guy maybe right up here. How about that? We'll see what he does. And then, let's do this. We'll take a snake out of my pocket. He's so comfortable in my pocket. We'll pull her out and put her on here as well. I'm just going to bring this a little bit closer, because I don't want them to be able to reach the top. I'm going to keep an eye on them for a little bit. And I don't want them to be able. I don't want them to be able to reach the enclosures. I want them to stay on that. Jenna, thanks for the super chat. We're getting a new adult female Pop One carpet python from Riley. Oh, that's great. Also tried your outside trick with the Brettles, and he calmed right down. What's the outside trick? The outside trick with the Brettles. Is that like something to do with bringing them outdoors or something? I don't know what that trick is, but I'm glad your Brettles calmed right down. That's great. Congrats on the Pop One. Riley's got some really cool animals. Okay, let's see. All right. I'm going to start answering. I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. No, I didn't. Okay. All right. They seem all right, those carpet pythons. Am I, so, wait a second. When I look, it's so funny. I'm looking at them, but the way the picture's configured, it looks like I'm looking away from them, but turning this way, I'm looking at them. All right. Okay. Oh, well, speaking of Dave, Mari is asking, when is your next adventure with Dave? And that would be to Minnesota. Very soon we will be, Dave lives in Minnesota and he's going to be our guide. I've talked about this before. Most of you guys know about this, but there are about 30 of the Horde of Keepers, the Patreon members, who are descending on a little farmhouse in Minnesota. And we are going to be camping there and staying at that farmhouse and herping, looking for rattlesnakes and hognose snakes and maybe fox snakes, a bunch of other stuff. Dave knows where they are. He's going to be our guide. That's the next adventure. I'm so excited about it. Nothing super exotic planned right now, although we have talked about Argentina. So we'll see if that happens at some point. All right. Okay. Next Q&A question. We're going to try to get through these. This may still be a super long live stream. I don't know, but we're going to try to get through these. Crisis Corpse is asking, what is the most interesting snake you've seen in the wild? You know, I would say it's a tie between the emerald tree boas and the anacondas that I've seen in the wild. And really, I mean, the anaconda really is just because of the size, just because it's such a massive snake, and to be in the presence of a big one that's in the wild is incredible. But as far as interesting behavior, it's the emerald tree boa for sure. The fact that you can take a wild emerald out of a tree, work with it for 20 minutes, and pretty much it will never try to bite you again. They just, once they realize that you're not there to predate on them, they won't bite you. Now that doesn't mean that I mean, in that handling session, that doesn't mean that I can put them back in their bag and then the next day I pull them out and they don't get scared. You know, they're not permanently socialized, but once they realize that in that moment, the thing that's handling them is not hurting them, they relax, which is really interesting. And their food, what they're eating as food is interesting, and so much stuff about them. Those massive teeth that they have, you know, which is, it's a good thing that they easily calm down and stop trying to bite you, because you don't want to get bit by one. Okay. Next. Diana's asking, thoughts on a Brazilian rainbow boa, temperament, difficulty of care, and husbandry. Recommend any specific breeders. I love Brazilian rainbow boas. You know, when you get into researching them, you'll find this really quickly, that the issue with them is when they're babies, they're very unforgiving of mistakes. So especially with their humidity. So if your humidity isn't just right, you could kill the snake. It just has to be up high enough. You know, there can be a window of how much humidity, but if it dips too low, they just won't survive. When they're babies, as they get older, they're a little bit more forgiving of that kind of stuff, and you can socialize them just fine. You know, they have a reputation with the locals in the Amazon jungle that I've met, of being super cantankerous and bitey. But the one that I worked with in the wild acted like a socialized pet snake. So I didn't have that experience with them. They're pretty great though. Oh, and as far as breeders, there's a lot of breeders, but one good one that has some super beautiful, really brightly colored rainbow boas is Scales Reptiles in Las Vegas. He's got some really cool animals. Zach is his name. I think. I hope I'm right. I think his name is Zach. Crisis Corpse, thanks for the super chat. Hope you have a wonderful evening. I won't be able to stay long tonight. Going to a jazz concert. Oh my gosh, that'll be fun. I mean, I hope it should be fun. Jazz should be really fun, but if it's smooth jazz, it might be boring. Just, have some wine or something with you. Clint is in with black box cages. Speaking of which, I just had a massive delivery, a huge pallet of black box cages come in. And my friend Willie came over, drove all the way over from Malibu, which is like a 45-minute drive, just to help me unload this pallet of cages because they were these. Let me just put it on me for a second. They were these 5-foot cages right here. I got 3 of them. We have a whole cage project happening. And I mean, they seem to be doing okay, these 2 snakes. So bringing them in with 2 people, it definitely takes 2 people. You're not gonna carry one of those with 1 person. And it doesn't take long. It's not a lot of work to bring 3 of those in, but it's hard work. Like we were really sweaty by the end of that project. Kathy, thanks for the super chat. My new bioactive enclosure has spontaneously generated a horde of gnats. Where did they come from? How can I eliminate them? That's a great question, and I think I'm prepared right now to show you how to eliminate them. Where is my? Hold on. I'm gonna get it. Let me just make sure they're good. They are, those 2. Okay, hang on a second. So there's a thing called here it is. It's called a catchy. You can get it on Amazon. I should put this in my affiliate links because for anybody that gets gnats, I'm just going to do a commercial for Catchy right now, and then look for it in my affiliate links tomorrow. So, but this thing, it's pretty cheap, and the way it works, you plug it in. This is a light. It's a what do you call it? Like a colored light. Can't think of the word. Anyway, gnats are attracted to it. So at night, you turn this thing on. They go towards the light. This is a fan that sucks them down to this little thing. This is going to be gross because there's a bunch of gnats on it. But you can see this is a sticky thing, and it gets all the gnats. So I just recently had a gnat infestation also. Those things work awesome. I've had it. I had an infestation a long time ago in the inspector's cage. There were gnats everywhere. So fortunately, it was during breeding season. And so I just put him in with whoever he was breeding with at the time and plugged one of those in and put it in the cage and shut the cage for the night. And it got all of them. It was great. So I have 2 of those. And if I get an infestation, I can put 1 in each room, just put them in for the night, and it'll work. It's one of my best recommendations. Okay. Let me just make sure that I haven't missed anything. I got to be really careful on these super chats because I don't have Amy right now to back me up and flag me if I miss anything. I haven't yet. Okay, good. Brandon just super chatted. Hang on. I'll be right with you. Boom, boom, boom. There it is. Brandon, thanks for the super chat. Looking to buy my first ball in a week or 2. Any recommendations on good breeders with baby pieds? I'm nervous about where to buy. Well, I'm a good breeder, and I'm going to have baby pieds in about 40 days. It's a little past your timeline, but I should have some pieds coming. There, you know what? Pied is a gene that so many breeders work with. I would say most of them work with some form of pied combos. So just find a breeder that you like, and see what they've got. There's going to be a bunch of them. You can go on Morph Market and research some breeders, find some pieds that are in your price range, because some are going to be mixed with other genes that are going to be super expensive. Some will be maybe just a regular pied that'll be pretty cheap. So find your price range, find animals that you like, and then research those breeders. Make sure the breeders got good. You know, I like to make sure they've been around for a while and make sure they have some good reviews. You know. Hi Des, good to see you. Thanks for the super chat. Hey Bob, my 6-month ball python is in shed and the humidity is 67 to 71%. Is that okay? Using ReptiChip for bedding. Should I mist it more often than every 4 days? So these are two separate questions. Number one, you shouldn't be misting at all with ReptiChip. Misting just puts a thin layer of water over everything, and then it evaporates immediately, and your humidity drops right away. So the great thing with ReptiChip is it acts like a sponge. So you pour water into it. I mean, I have a sprayer that sprays a steady stream of water, and then I sit there and mix it up as I spray the water. But you can also just dump water from a water dish. When you're changing waters, you could just dump that water dish in the ReptiChip and then mix it around with your hand. That keeps your humidity up. But as far as this question of is 67 to 71% okay? Yes, totally. If the snake has been sitting at 67 to 71% for the last several weeks, then it should be well hydrated. But if the humidity has been at 40%, and then all of a sudden now it's just at 67 to 71, no, it's probably not. The snake's probably not hydrated enough. Let's see. Thanks for that super chat. Balaf Von Depths, thanks for the super chat. That's a fun name to say. I'm looking for baby pieds, and yours will be right as I'm ready for one. Also, can't wait to see everyone in my home state herping event. It says helping event, but I'm sure you meant herping event. I was going to say, Balaf Von Depths, as long as you're on Patreon, you can get a baby pied, but clearly you are if you're coming to the... This must be your name on YouTube. It must be different from your name on Patreon. Brandon, thanks for this other super chat. I would be happy to wait 40 days and buy from you. Not trying to spend more than $500. Your videos have been super helpful. So there's another $5. Oh, that's really nice, Brandon. So make sure you're on my Patreon because that's who all the baby snakes go to. There are, I can't remember how many eggs I have in the incubator right now, but they're from Lucille, who, oh, Mama, look at you. You're awake. Look at you awake. She's had one meal since she laid these eggs. Look at how skinny Lucille is. Just still looking like a flat tire. So I can't, she's got, I think there's 7 or 8 in there. If anybody knows, because I think I told Patreon, you guys know how many eggs I have in the incubator, tell me. But they're big. Oh no, it's 6 eggs. And that's what it is. I thought it was going to be a lot of eggs, but it turns out they were just huge. Like I saw her wrapped around this tall pile of eggs. And I went, oh, there's going to be a lot. But I think it's only 6, which is normal. That's a normal size clutch. But they're huge eggs. So she just put all of her body fat into making eggs. And she ate about 4 or 5 days ago. She did not want a rat. You know, she goes back and forth from being a mouser to taking rats, whatever. So I gave her a couple jumbo mice, and we'll keep doing that. She'll get some weight back. I'm not going to breed her next season, so I'm not in a rush for her to like bulk up quickly. You know, she can do it on her own time. You guys, I forgot about this, or didn't think to tell you guys about this, but I had the other day. A friend of mine that I know from the camp that I volunteer at is a teacher for grade schoolers. And she brought a group of 10 5th and 6th graders over the other day to learn about snakes. It was the funnest thing. It's not something I normally do here in the green room, but it was so fun to have these kids come in. They were all super nice and really respectful. And there was one kid that was afraid of snakes, but she got the courage up to hold a few. And it was so fun to have them have them in and see how excited they were about snakes. And, you know, a couple of kids are like, oh my God, this is the best day of my life. You know, they were just so excited. That was fun. It was fun. A few of them are fans of the channel. My guess is that their teacher told them maybe a week beforehand that they're coming over to this YouTube guy's place, and they probably looked up my channel at that point and have been watching videos. But, you know, at that age, that's a cool thing to go and see snakes at a YouTube person's place if they know the channel, you know, if they've been watching. So it was super fun for me and them. All right. Have I missed anything? Okay. By the way, that pied clutch that's in the incubator right now is 50% of the clutch will be pied. So there's not going to be a ton of pieds. I mean, who knows what the odds are, but that's what the odds should be is 50%, but maybe we'll have more, maybe we'll have less. And mixed with banana and fire and orange dream, inchy, should be pretty nice clutch. Okay. Where are we at here? All right. Red Sonia is asking, so you're a comedian, actor, snake aficionado. What else do you want to do? I do a lot of stuff. I play some music occasionally, stuff like that. I don't know that there's anything else that I want to, that there's anything that I haven't done that I want to just get into, you know, like I want to be a chef. I don't think so. It'd be cool. It'd be cool. But I think at this stage of life, I'm set up to do a number of things that I love to do, and I'm happy pursuing those things. So I'm doing a festival this weekend. I'm performing at a festival this weekend. So up in Idlewild, California. So that'll be fun. Then I'll come back here and work on some stuff, and I got all kinds of stuff happening over the next few weeks. All right. Yes, Azara. That's right. World domination. That's it. Bit Booty, thanks for coming to the live. It's 1:36 a.m. in the UK, but I'll stay as long as I can. That's really, I'm so glad you're here because I have a question. I think I have a question on here from you. Maybe not. Hang on. Oh no, maybe not. I thought I did. I thought we were I thought I saw a question from you or something recently. Maybe it was on another Discord or Patreon thing. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. These live streams tend to go long, so don't sacrifice good sleep for watching this because it'll be up later. You can watch it later. Andy, welcome. First live. Anybody who's joining me for the first time, welcome. Glad you're here. We're gonna keep rolling on these, and then you know what? Let me do this. I am gonna keep rolling on these, but let's grab. Is this weird? Yeah, it is, because I'm walking this way, but then I come in the opposite direction from. All right. I just want to put these guys back because I'm just envisioning a scenario where I get caught up in answering questions or whatever and don't see them as they crawl off the, crawl down the thing and escape. So I'm just going to put them back right now. I put them on the snake tree quite often, but I keep an eye on them the entire time when they're on there because they definitely do sometimes decide to climb down. And I might just pick them up when they get to the floor. But I like that they figure it out. They figure out that if they go down, they can find a floor and they'll sit there and tongue flick on the floor because they don't know what that is. And it's a big discovery for them. But obviously, I don't want them crawling across the floor unless I'm right there. Because, man, these little guys would get lost so fast. Okay. There you go, Koa. All right. Should we get a bigger snake out? Get that out of the way. This camera to here. All right. How about Max? Just because I see him right here. He's just out. Hi, buddy. Max is a lean ball python. He's got good body condition, but he's been moving around a lot lately. I let him free roam occasionally. Is he? I'm looking at trying to see if he's. No, he's not in shit. And this is his first breeding season, and he's all about it. Elijah, thanks for the super chat. I'm 13 and I just bought my first snake. I hope that $5 is from your parents. I don't want you sending me your $5, but congratulations on buying your first snake. That's awesome. It's a super dwarf retake from Reach Out Reptiles. Oh my gosh, you bought a serious snake. Well done. He's a wild type male, and I'm looking for some name suggestions. You guys drop name suggestions for a male retic in the chat. Because you're going to get, if I have everybody else do it, you're going to get different, everybody has different thoughts of how they name their snakes, serious name, funny name, all kinds of different things like that. And you'll get a bunch of different suggestions. So drop names in the chat, you guys. Bit Booty. I did ask a question on Patreon, but I put it in very late. Oh, that's what it was. I would have totally forgot about that because I saw that and I had already printed off my clipboard. So we're gonna go to that one right now so I don't forget it. Hang on. Thanks for clarifying that. Okay. That's what it was. I knew I saw a question and I was tying it to this. So I knew it was for this, but then I didn't see it on my clipboard. All right. So here's Bit Booty's question. Very late sending this question. We're building a new vivarium for Shelby, a 5x3x2, and I'm giving her a burrow as she loves to dig holes. Should I use a heat mat under the vivarium in the burrow? The burrow is 7/8 inch deep. I'm thinking yes, or have the burrow on the cold side. So if you're building this cage, I don't know what material you're building it out of, but my guess is that it's wood or melamine, PVC. None of those are going to work well with the heat mat. If it's glass and you don't have a lot of thick substrate, you could use a heat mat. But the problem with a burrow, if the burrow is just kind of built into the substrate, it could get to the point where you could have some really hot spots on that. So I wouldn't recommend a heat mat at all. I don't know exactly what your setup is going to be, but I think your best bet is to heat that from above rather than using a heat mat. You know what, pal? You're going to be happier on my hat, I think. Let's just put you on there and see how you do. There we go. Okay. So I'd look into those above heat options. That's how I would do that. Okay. Are you guys giving some names out? Great. Okay. We got some name suggestions for that male retic. All right. Let's see. Where am I at on this? Oh, so Redstone, you had a few other questions. Is there an agenda for our Minnesota trip yet? Yeah, basically, but I'll talk about that on Patreon. But it's gonna be herping each day, and then a lot of just hanging out, and maybe I'll plan some stuff in the evening, but I haven't yet. So, but we will talk about Dave. the problem is Dave's been in Africa, and so when he gets back from Africa, we're going to talk about what our excursions exactly are going to be on those days. Basically, it'll be 2 major herping excursions. I think maybe 3, but I think probably 2. But we'll talk about it on Patreon. How is sweet dear Harry the house snake, and has he taught you anything yet? Harry's doing great. Harry is, Harry's not fond of people, really. He's not. I wouldn't call him a socialized snake at this point. But he does okay if I'm holding him. He's much better if I pick him up with a hook. If I need to pick him up, I'll pick him up with a hook and then put him in my hand. And he's much better than if I reach in and grab him with my giant hand. And I get it. He's a little tiny snake. He's not trying to get picked up by a giant monkey, He is lightning fast when he strikes, and he's the best constrictor in the green room. He's a better constrictor than my boa and all my pythons, I would say. He super lightning fast, grabs this little tiny pinky mouse and wraps it in a perfect coil before you can even blink. He's so fast. And then usually he uncoils right away. He wraps it super fast and then uncoils right away, as though he's like, oh, it's dead. And then he comes out of his coil and eats. Very, very interesting little guy. I like watching him crawl around the other thing is he's in this glass. He's in the only glass enclosure that I have. And as soon as the lights come out or turn off, he comes out right then and there. As soon as those lights are out in his cage, he comes out. It's time to come out. But if he sees me moving anywhere near his cage, he darts under something. So he's very good at hiding from the human. Okay, I got some super chats I got to get to. Thanks for these super chats, you guys. I'm just scrolling up to make sure I didn't miss any others before I get to these 3, I think, that just came in. Okay. I think we're caught up. Now let me get to these new ones. Birdie284, any plans for breeding Delilah? And if so, to who? Yeah, I have bred Delilah. And you want to see one of Delilah's holdbacks? It's funny to call her a holdback because I've had her for so long. But I love this snake so much. This is Willow. And really, you guys haven't seen Willow on the channel for a while. But here's Willow. I kept her. She's 2.5, 3 years old. And this is her first breeding season. And maybe she's 3.5. I don't know. I'll have to look. But she's doing very well. And she's got this just really interesting paradox. Patterning. So anyway, I'm going to put her back because she should be left alone. I'm going to try to feed her tonight, but she's off food at this point because she's in breeding season. So I still offer though. Anyway, Delilah is paired with Ron. We're gonna try to make some more freeway combos, which is what Willow is. They make really nice babies, Delilah and Ron. So, oh man, don't grab my hat band. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm just gonna hang on to this guy. Red Sonja is asking about debauchery. Do you mean at the on the Minnesota trip? Yes. However, respectful debauchery because we are at Azara Grimm's family's farmhouse. So sure, debauchery within the confines of being very respectful to the property. And then when we're out herping, we're looking for rattlesnakes. So we're keeping ourselves safe. Other than that, so much debauchery. whatever debauchery we can get up to within those very strict confines, that's it. But Red Sonja, you did just say the one word, so you could have been referring to anything else. You could have been giving a name for that super dwarf retic That could have been your name suggestion. I don't know. Bella Fun Depths. I did post a question to the Patreon today. Not sure if that's considered late. It's pronounced Bailiff, by the way. Bailiff Von Depths. I wonder if that's a reference to something that I don't know. No, I see it. It's the very last question on my thing. I'll just answer it right now. What's the one snake that you don't have yet that you'd love to pick up in the future? Rough scale python. Rough scale. I am a big fan of those snakes. Big fan of their story. I love them. And I don't have one yet, but it is my goal to eventually have one. And, you know, it's one of those things, they're not the cheapest snakes in the world. So it's got to be the right timing. Got to have the right caging scenario ready for it, you know. If there were somebody out there that had a rough scale python, they wanted to gift it to the green room, I'd get the caging figured out. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I really want a roughie. They're super cool. Okay. Let me cross this. Oh, I did cross it off. Okay, good. So let's see where we're at here. Hang on, let me just. Oh, Amanda. Hi, Amanda. Amanda has a new snake from the green room named Nandor the Relentless. So excited about that. Such a great name. Especially for those of you who get the reference, our very own Amy Bentley has a Colin Robinson. So we've got a Colin Robinson that came from the green room. We have a Nandor the Relentless. So definitely need somebody to name one of the green room snakes Laszlo. We could do a Nadia, not a Nadja with a J. Anyway, let me get to this. Nandor came out to visit. I had to let him see you. I'll pretend he knew what was going on. He absolutely knew what was going on. He's wonderful. I love him. He's such a sweetheart. Oh, that's great. I'm so glad to hear that. The one, you know, the babies in that clutch that I've shipped off, I love hearing from the keepers and getting updates, you know, even years later, but especially the people that are getting the new snakes and seeing how they're adjusting. How did they do when they were shipped? Because I always, you know, I know that I'm shipping a snake that is at some level of socialization. You know, they're not always perfectly socialized, but I do what I can before I ship them out. And but you never know what's going to happen between the time that I put that snake in a box and the person on the other end opens the box. We don't know how that trip went. And so it's always nice to see like a picture of or a little video of the person opening the bag and the snake just crawling out onto their hand or something. It's super heartwarming. Makes me happy. And a Jackie Daytona. Definitely we need a Jackie Daytona snake. How many of you guys know what I'm talking about? Okay. Did I get all the super chats? I think so. I think I did. Thanks for those super chats, you guys. Those help out the channel a lot. And they highlight your questions so that I will read them and answer them. Or your comment, if you want me to read your comment on screen. Chris, thanks for the super chat. Wait, Sarah knows what's up. I knew you would know, Sarah. Okay. Chris, thanks for the super chat. Your videos have been so helpful for me. Thank you, Bob. You're my favorite keeper on YouTube by a mile. Oh my gosh, that's so nice, Chris. I appreciate that. I'm glad the videos have been helpful for you. That's really nice to hear. I always like hearing from people that have found the videos helpful. You know, I don't expect everyone to find my videos helpful. Every YouTube person has a different style, has a different way that they keep snakes, which is okay. We talk about that a lot here, but I realize that my style is not going to work for everybody. So it is nice to have a group of people that appreciate it and you know, learn from the videos. It's cool. Okay. Where are we here on this page? We're still on the first page, you guys. I feel like this might be a long live stream. Oh, I put Max back. I must have done that without thinking. Let me make sure. I did. Oh, I did. I remember doing that. I remember putting him back. I didn't say I was putting him back though. He didn't seem like he was too happy coming out. Let's who do you guys want to see? I'll bring somebody else out after while I answer Balafon Depth's question. Put in the chat who you guys would like to see, and we'll see who's available. I have a bocce ball set I could bring to the event if we're looking to do some. Yeah, do it. Bring that. That'd be great to have. We got one for Kato, one for Damara, Handsome Dan, the inspector, another one for Handsome Dan. Handsome Dan, here's the thing with Handsome Dan. He's one of the ones we're feeding tonight. He's getting a quail. And he's been out all day. He's been up there. I just put him back in his cage so that he can relax in his own hide and get ready to eat. So I know everybody wants to see Handsome Dan. Anya, Kata. Okay, let's do Kata's super easy because she's right here. She's just right here. Mama. Kata's been out a lot lately. She's been free roaming a lot, but she's also had a lot of human interaction, which she's not the most comfortable with, but I think it's good for her to interact with different humans. She was out with the kids the other day. My neighbor's mother-in-law was here. She's so sweet. Her name's Kathy, and Kathy had never been up close to a snake before, never held a snake before. And she held a bunch of snakes, including Kata. I'm pretty sure, yeah, she did hold Kata. But she became best friends with Pip before holding anything else. And then was just so excited about snakes. Okay, so we got Tiger Lily. We could do Tiger Lily. Banjo, possibly. Pepperoni, Pip. Okay. Keep those in mind, you guys. You may have to suggest them again. I'll try to keep them in mind. I'm gonna hang out with Kata for a little bit. We'll see if she can just hang out without knocking my microphone off. That'll be the goal. So let me answer a couple. Let's make sure that I didn't miss anything here. Okay. Back to the Patreon questions while we hang out with Miss Kata, who's backing up. She's such a backup snake. I don't have any other ball pythons that back up like she does. Okay. And she does it fast. Like if she at least had a beep, beep, beep right before she did it, then I would have some sort of notice. But I feel like she backs up faster than she goes forward. Okay. Alexandria, this is a big question. Top 5 tips for new baby ball python owners. I would say research. Do your research. Find the people that you trust for research, or the pages or whatever. Don't fall into while you're doing your research. Don't fall into the Facebook group and Reddit group drama. Not all Facebook groups are bad. There's one called New Ball Python Keepers that Tracy Judd, who wrote the book that I talked about on my channel. Tracy has this New Ball Python Keepers group, which is a really good one. But many of them are drama. Stay away from the drama. I would say that. Feed your snake appropriately, because a lot of people don't. Focus on your relationship with your snake and socialization. And what is that, 4 or is that 5? I think that's 4. I'm letting Kata go back into her enclosure, and then we'll see if she comes back out to see if she really wants to be out. I don't think she does, but we're going to give her a choice. Number 5 is give them a choice. Let them do what they want to do. Those are my top 5 tips off the top of my head. The next question is how to prepare / feel comfortable with letting your snake free roam for the first time. That's a great question. So I have some videos on the channel about how to prepare your house for free roaming, but you're never going to catch everything. So what you need to do the first several times that you let your snake free roam is follow them. You don't do it unsupervised. So you supervise them and see what they find. What I did with when I first moved here is, hang on, I'm going to move my camera a little bit. Perfect framing. I saw my fan going. It was so distracting. My fan was just going on the side there. So when I first moved here and I did all the proofing and everything, I let Maya out because I knew that Maya goes everywhere. She's going to see every square inch and she'll do it fast. And I can just follow her around and shore up anything. She found two things that I didn't notice where she could have crawled in and got under a thing and into a cupboard. So she was a great spotter for me. Hi, Mama. Do you want to come back out? I see your little head, but I'm right here. So you got to deal with me if you come out. Okay. Where are we at? I'm gonna get another one of these that was suggested. It was Tiger Lily, and she should be pretty easy. Oh, hi, Mama. You're right here. You're even out. Tiger Lily has been free roaming, but when I say free roaming, I don't know if she's ovulated yet. I don't know where she's at in the process. She might have eggs in her. But she is at a point where she wants to be in a cool area. I don't think she's ovulated because she would be nesting, I think. And she's not quite nesting yet, but she likes to be in the cool areas. She's on the cool end of her tub right now. So I let her out and she goes under the couch and curls up on the cold floor under the couch. I've got a hardwood floor. And the other day Damara and Tiger Lily and Lydia Dietz, all three wanted to be out. So I let them all out and they all went their separate ways. But within about half hour, 45 minutes, they were all together in that spot under the couch. And they have the choice of, I think there's probably 8 different snake hides around here that they could fit into by themselves, snake hides and different things. There's no temperature wise, it's not any warmer. They're actually looking for a cooler spot, but anywhere on the floor is going to be the same temperature. And I actually temp gunned them to see what they were at, and it was like 75, which is pretty cool, And but I think adult female ball pythons oftentimes choose to hang out together. I think, and my guess is there's no evidence that I know of, but my guess is that they would do that in the wild as well, maybe be in dens together or something, because they tend to gravitate toward one another. They also will, at the same time, also will separate plenty of times and go off and do their own thing, but they certainly don't mind hanging out together, which is really interesting to see. Tiger Lily, you're pulling my hat off. She is a super pretty lady. I'm going to try to help her get her big belly on my hat. Okay. All right. So now I'm just going to have to hold it up. She's kind of heavy. She's not a huge ball python, but she's a big girl. She's become a big girl during this breeding season of hers. All right. I was going to answer another question. Hang on. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to hold it. Oh, wait. Okay. Kevin has a few questions here. How high is your snake wall? Are you worried about snakes falling off? Are they above a hard or soft floor? By the way, this is all one question, one of the questions of several. So this all counts as the same. So how high is it? Are you worried about them falling off? Are they above a hard or soft floor? My children's python had a fall the other day, seems completely unharmed, and is active, mental as usual, unlike me, who is mentally scarred. Yeah, I had the first time I had a snake fall from kind of a high height, I was super worried. But they usually do okay. I'll answer the other questions in a second, but I always say to be really careful because your snake could fall in a weird way, and they have spines and ribs and stuff, and they definitely can hurt themselves. But that being said, they're usually okay when they fall. To answer your question, my snake wall is probably 7 feet at the highest. I don't let ball pythons on it because they will fall. It's all semi-arboreal snakes, but there are 2 spots where they can fall. One of them is the shelves in the corner. They can fall off of, although I've given them things to hang on to now, but they still could fall. And I have a pad that I put under that just for that reason. It's a cushion that it's like a meditation cushion. That's kind of big, you know, like square and probably this thick. So if they fall, they would fall on that, but they still could fall in a weird position and hurt themselves. The chance of them falling though now is really slim, just because they have so much that they can hold on to at this point. But the other place they fall from is probably 5 feet up, and it's my hat rack that Echo always climbs up onto my hat rack in that room, and she climbs onto this hat and another one, my cowboy hat that I wear a lot on these. She loves to wrap around that cowboy hat and sit, and she oftentimes falls with it off the hat rack. And so I bought a wide laundry basket. I used to have kind of a small laundry basket, but I've bought a wide one just specifically because I know it'll have clothes in it, and I can put it under the hat rack and she can just fall into the laundry basket, which works really well. I often go into that room when she's in there and find a hat in my laundry basket, which means she's fallen and now she's somewhere else in the room. And sometimes she's still in the laundry basket because she likes being in there too. Candy, you know what? I'm so sorry. There's nothing I can do about it when I go low res. It's an internet thing. And we talked about this at the very beginning. I thought I had it fixed, but I didn't. It was actually worse. What I thought was going to fix the problem was worse when I started this live stream. So I shut that device off, and I'm going to try a different fix next time. But this is going to be a problem. Just like it was in the last live stream, and I think the one before, where it's where it goes blurry sometimes. But there's nothing I can do about it because it's just the internet here. It's such a bummer because I can't tell when it happens, but I watch later and I'm like, man, I wish this wouldn't do that. So I'm trying to fix this situation. Hopefully by next live stream, it'll be fixed and we'll have clear live stream all the way through. But unfortunately in this one, we're going to deal with this blurriness sometimes. I don't know how long it'll last, but I hope not very long. And I wish there was something I could do about it on my end, but I just can't. Okay. Oh, Willie's here. Hey, Willie. We were just talking about you, how you came over this morning and helped me move these cages in. We got sweaty, man. It was sweaty. Willie, will you come back over and fix my internet so it's not fuzzy? That would be really helpful. Hang on, let's see. Yeah, actually, I didn't go to the gym this morning just because I knew I was gonna do this. So I had plans to go to the gym and I didn't make it. So it definitely was the workout for the day. Did you fix it? Is it clear now? Did Willie fix it, you guys? Is the internet back to being clear? I'm so bummed. I bought this extender that I paid like $100 for. I thought for sure that was gonna work. Nope. Not the issue, apparently. Okay. Where are we at? We're getting through these questions, you guys. I promise. Kevin's next question is, I have a 5-year-old male children's python shed recently. Good, complete one-piece shed. I left it outside on top of his cage to dry out, and he discovered it about a day later. He's obsessed with it, slithering all over, along, back and forth. I'm not sure if this is male dominance behavior or if he's trying to get the attention of the empty skin. Any ideas? That's really interesting because you would think that a snake would recognize their own shed, you know, because it's going to have their scent on it, and they're like, "Oh, that's me." But that sounds like behavior that he's like he's found another snake and he's interested or something. I don't know. I don't know what that would be, because I always feel like snakes know their own shed, but that behavior doesn't sound like a snake just recognizing their shed, because you'd think they would just move on. But who knows? That's pretty interesting. Willie, are people giving you compliments about your videos? You guys, Willie's Reptiles, if you don't know, go check out those videos. Willie's making some very high quality videos. He just posted one that's got such good information in it, and they're short. They're way shorter than mine, but the production value is fantastic. And Willie's got his zoology degree, so he knows his stuff. It's a new channel coming out the gate, really strong, because Willie's got a background in content creation, like he knows what he's doing. So a lot of people, when they start a YouTube channel, they have the learning curve of how do you make a video. Like, you have to learn everything involved in making a video. How do you talk on camera? How do you edit? How do you do lighting? How do you shoot yourself? You know, so it's always nice when you have some of those skills starting out. You can make some quality videos right away. Andy, that's a great question. What kind of whiskey am I drinking? Because I addressed it early in the video, but there's a lot of new people in. I'm drinking Green Spot, which is my favorite Irish whiskey. This, along with Redbreast, are my two favorites. But man, Green Spot, if you want a really nice Irish, so good. It's got just a hint of green apple, and not that it's flavored. It's not flavored at all. It's just, that's the note that you get when you drink this whiskey. It's just lovely. Thanks, Willie. Willie says, couldn't do it without Bob being a really great sounding board. I just wanted to show that, because Willie does really good content, and I want the credit of being a sounding board on some of it. Okay. All right. So where are we? Skidia says, what was your favorite thing you learned or observed from the baby ball python clutch cohab experiment? That experiment is still going on, even though half the clutch is with their new homes. You know, it's interesting to see what they choose to do, because they have so many hides that they can choose from, and they have tubes. You know, they've got like paper towel rolls, stuff like that they can choose from. But they clearly choose to hang out with certain snakes. Rarely do I see one by themselves, although I do see it sometimes. Sometimes they're all piled up together under one hide, and not necessarily in the heat. It could be in the middle of the thing, or in the front, or whatever, but all under one hide, and that hide could be the smallest one. And then we just have a big pile of baby snakes and a little tiny hat. It's like a person with a little tiny hat on. It's pretty funny. But you know, I would say it is harder. It's harder to manage a clutch when they're all in one big tub. It's much easier to know who pooped, when they pooped, who was it that shed. I can usually tell who shed just by looking at them. You can tell who just recently shed, but it's not the easiest thing to do. And when you have a snake that's not eating, you know, I have two in that clutch that still aren't eating on their own. So I've had to transfer them into their own shoebox tubs, because I want them to just settle down and focus on eating food. And then when they do it, like if I assist feed them, I want to know if they poop, stuff like that. There's just no way to know who did it, you know, when they're communally in a tub. But they definitely seem to be comfortable with one another and hanging out with one another in that environment. So it's pretty cool. All right. So we're on the next page, you guys. Azara is asking, if you could build an ultimate cage for any snake in your collection, which snake would get the ultimate cage, and what would the theming be? that's a great question. What you're asking is who's my favorite snake, and I don't have a favorite. So the ultimate cage would be based on who needs the ultimate cage. The theming would be naturalistic. I know that's boring. I would love to say that it would be like, you know, some movie theme, exciting. My Dinner with Andre, like a table and two chairs. No, I'm kidding. It wouldn't be My Dinner with Andre. Who even gets that reference? Do you guys even know of that movie? I know there's a lot of people younger than me. For the record, I've never seen My Dinner with Andre. This is a movie that apparently is just one set. It's a 2-hour long, or however long the movie is, but full-length movie of just two people sitting at dinner and talking. Like it's a play and they made it a movie. Sounds so boring, but I'm sure it's great. Anyway, my point is, wow, I went off track. It would be naturalistic because it's for the snake, and I think the snake would do better in a naturalistic. So I have a very easy answer though, because this snake will get the ultimate cage when they're big enough. And I haven't introduced that snake on the channel yet, but I have introduced that snake to you, Azara, and the rest of Patreon. So you all know who I'm talking about. And that snake will get a very large cage eventually, because it's going to be a big snake. So that's the answer. And if you want to know who that snake is, all you have to do is join the Horde of Keepers on Patreon, and you can watch that video, because I just posted it, what, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. All right. I mean, it's super easy. All you got to do is join the lowest tier, the $5 tier, watch the video, and then cancel your membership. You know, I'd love for you to stay on. It's a great group to be a part of. And you get lots of perks, but, you know, it would be very easy to get access to that video. Amy Olson, thanks for the super chat. Is it possible age is a factor to snakes adjusting to change? I had 2 hunger strike, ages 10 and 16 months, when I brought home, and one happened to be younger that ate the first week home. Oh, the one that happened to be younger. Well, between 10 and 16 months is really not much of an age difference. I would say, hang on. Sorry, Big Mama D. I'm going to get to your super chat. I just saw that was a different one that I just clicked on. I'll get to that in just a second. So no, it's really, you know, some snakes adjust fine and some don't. Kata, who I never closed her, she went back in her hide. I never closed her tub. Kata, for instance, I got her as an adult, and she, you know, she actually ate for me okay. She may have skipped the first few offerings. I don't remember, but she definitely wasn't comfortable because she just was not raised with any handling. She was raised at a big breeder facility, and just wasn't used to human interaction. And I've had some babies come in that don't eat for a while because they're just not comfortable yet, and then some that eat right away. So my point is that I think it could happen at any age. It just depends on the individual snake, what their history is, and just what their current temperament is. Based on their history or not, they, you know, snakes just are individuals and they have different temperaments. I'm going to put Tiger Lily back because I'm actually getting a headache from the weight. So say goodbye to Tiger Lily. She's such a sweetheart. She's giving me a headache. Look at that. Look at that mandolin on her head. Her head stamp, you know, Spot Nose oftentimes puts a guitar head stamp on snakes. To me, Tiger Lily's looks like a mandolin. Her dad, though, has a perfect guitar head stamp. Ron, do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's been a long time since I've shown Ron's head stamp. I mean, Ron hasn't been on the channel in a while, but I haven't shown his head stamp in quite some time. Maybe I'll show that here in a moment. Let's get to Big Mama D's super chat. Amy, thank you for that super chat, and Big Mama D, thank you for that super chat. I've learned so much from your channel, plus the comedy is a bonus. I watched all of Willie's reptiles videos too. Oh, that's great. He needs to make more. Keep up the awesome work, both of you. Oh, thank you so much. I will tell you that Willie is making more videos on a weekly basis than I do. He's pumping them out like crazy. His are shorter, easier to digest, and he's definitely going to keep going, and I will too. I've been at it for a while now, and I'm glad that you're enjoying the videos, and I'm sure that he and I will be in more of each other's videos as well. Okay, here, I'll show you that head stamp that I was talking about. Ron, hi buddy. Can we see your handsome head? Hi pal, look at you. Oh my goodness, what a nice boy you are. All right, he was sleeping. I'm waking him up. Super rude. Super rude. Look at that. Look at that guitar, right? It's such a good head stamp. And those green eyes. They're actually kind of, they're more light brown than green. Great job, Ron. What a great head stamp model you're being. You know, it's so hard sometimes to show off a snake's head stamp because of their positioning, but Ron just did a great job. Okay. Oh, we got good quality image. That's great to know. That's great to know. Because, you know, it's so annoying when I watch these back and I'm trying to show off a snake and it's during one of the fuzzy times because I just don't know when it's super fuzzy like that. Yeah, okay. All right. So Ron, okay, I'm gonna put Ron back. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Ron's okay right now. We'll see how he does. I just feel like it was rude that he was just sleeping in his hide and I grabbed him. Okay, Brianna is asking, any snakes you don't ever see getting aside from a lot more massive ones for size constraint reasons? If so, what and why? So yeah, obviously, you know, anaconda, I don't see getting. Mainland retic, I get that. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of snakes that I love that I don't think I'll ever keep. So a lot of colubrids that I love that I don't think I'll ever keep, just because you can't keep every kind of animal. So especially the ones that I get to see in the wild a lot, I don't think I'll ever keep for myself because I can go out in the wild and find a California king snake. I can go out in the wild and find a gopher snake, you know, stuff like that. However, there are snakes that, like, if I travel somewhere and find a snake in wild, like an emerald tree boa, I would like to keep an emerald tree boa because I can't go and find them every day. But the fact that I've found them in the wild makes me then want to keep them. But then, you know, there are ones like certain, you know, I love short tail pythons, especially. I love the different morphs and how they look. I also love how they look just the wild type. Their patterns are crazy. I don't think I'll ever keep one because to me, and I know this is not quite fair to say, but to me, they're like a bigger ball python in that they stay on the ground, they stay hidden. I know their personality is a little bit different, but as far as a heavy bodied snake like that, I kind of gravitate more now toward the longer, thinner, semi-arboreal ones, you know. And I have so many ball pythons, which I love, but I don't know that I need bigger ones. so that's one that I probably won't have. I probably won't get a sand boa. I think they're cool and derpy looking, and I like Willie's. Willie just got a sand boa. But they hide in the sand a lot. Stuff like that. William, yellow anaconda, yeah. If you're going to get an anaconda, a yellow anaconda is the most reasonable one to get. And if you work with them, they tend to have a reputation for not being the the friendliest snakes, but if you work with them, just like any snake, they can be well socialized. They're great. Chris, I can't answer this question because I have not introduced YouTube to my largest snake, which is not the largest right now. I'll tell you, the largest that I have right now would be, I mean, technically Kata is my largest because she's so heavy bodied right now. Damara is usually my largest, but Damara hasn't gained her weight back from the clutch that she laid. My longest snake is Maya up there. Maya is 6 feet long. So she's the longest. Okay. But as far as what they're going to be, my newest snake that I'm so excited to show you guys in a video soon is going to be my longest, but maybe not my heaviest. So there's some hints for you if you're trying to guess what it is. Want to make sure that my hat stayed on while I took a drink there. Look at Ron. How nice is Ron, right? This is a snake that I just don't show enough on the channel. Okay. Leah is asking, how do you feel about hognose? Love a hognose snake. Super cute. Super cute little guys. Cranky. A lot of them are cranky. If you could be a snake, what kind would you be? I'd be a king cobra or a flying snake. Although I feel like a flying snake would easily get eaten. I can imagine just hawks waiting for a flying snake to leap out of a tree and then they just go and snatch it up. But, you know, being a snake and then being able to glide, like artfully glide somewhere, pretty cool. Any quick, this is Leah's last question. Any quick, delicious recipes? Context, morning sickness hates me. Okay, Leah, I do have a quick and delicious recipe that I just found. I don't know, with being pregnant, I don't know how you're going to feel about this. It may be awesome and it may be terrible. Get a donut pan. I had to buy a donut pan when I found this recipe on TikTok because I've never made donuts before. Get a donut pan. Put, you know, it's got these little rings, right? Put cheese in the bottom of the ring. Put an onion ring on top of that cheese. Put more cheese. Put Parmesan. You can do lots of Parmesan on the bottom, on the top, whatever kind of cheese you want. Throw some taco seasoning, whatever other kind of seasoning you want in there. Throw in the oven, 400 degrees for about 12 to 14 minutes. Take it out. You got these little delicious, I don't know what you'd call them, onion donuts, breadless bagels. They're so good. Highly recommend. Okay. William's asking, would I ever get a scrub python? Maybe. I like scrub pythons. It's always possible. Okay. Here we go. Kayla's question is, Kayla's saying, does any of your ball pythons beg for food all the time? I have a 1.5-year-old male named S'mores with a food drive of a retic. Any thoughts? Am I feeding him enough or is he just a little piggy? So here's the thing. Most ball pythons have a regular food drive. Some of them are picky eaters and some of them have a massive food drive. So we talk about the picky eaters just because that's not very common in the snake world with other species. It's sort of very specific to ball pythons. But most, you know, I would say most ball pythons are just normal eaters. When it's time to eat, they're happy to take a meal. Ron is that way. He's happy to take a meal. Then we've got some that always are looking for food, and then we've got some that are picky. But as far as the ones with the big food drive, they're just being a snake. you know, most other species are lean toward the massive food drive. And that is just a snake that doesn't know when their next meal is. They're an opportunistic feeder. And so they're always in this mode where it's like, yeah, I could eat, you know, whether they're literally feeling hungry like mammals feel hungry or not, they're just looking for another meal because they don't know if they're going to have to wait 2 months, you know. Even for a snake that knows when their feeding day is, because, you know, we get that a lot. Snakes still, they're still looking for a meal. Even though I've never fed Echo outside of her cage, she's still out here looking for a meal when she's out. She's out hunting. She's out trying to find a meal. And so sometimes ball pythons are like that too. You know, it's more common for a retic to be like that, but or a carpet python or just about anything else, you know. Oh, buddy. So Ron seems to be doing all right. He doesn't seem unhappy to be out here. Okay. I'm going to show you a new clutch. We're going to take a break from the questions. After the next one that I answer, I'm going to put Ron away. I'm going to show you some of the babies from the new clutch. So Suzanne, I'm putting Ron away right now, by the way, since he's kind of reaching for his. Suzanne says, my baby Tarahumara boa should arrive on Thursday. I think you got this snake, and I think you posted about it. Congrats on that. I think I saw your post, Suzanne, that you got that snake. That's great. I'm trying to decide between two names for him. Atticus Atlas, after the snake-headed moth, my favorite moth, or Doremus Jessup, the protagonist newspaper editor in Sinclair Lewis's It Could Happen Here, which seems timely. Thoughts and or maybe a quick vote in the chat. Yeah, so between Atticus Atlas or Dormius Jessup, just put an A or a D in the chat, and that'll be the vote. And what I would say is, just for a name, without considering the reference at all, just for a name, Atticus Atlas seems like the one that you could call the snake by either. It would be easy to call the snake by either Atticus or Atlas. So that's what I would go for. But check out the chat. We got a bunch of A's, a couple of D's. Great. Okay. Oh, so here's the. I'm gonna do a full video on this, but I thought I would just show it in the live stream. Show the snakes in the live stream. But this is a clutch that just hatched between Evie and the Sundance Kid. And Evie and the Sundance Kid are, Evie is vanilla, het for sunset. The Sundance Kid is cinnamon, het for sunset, and het for clown. So I'm getting all these snakes shed tested from RGI, who sponsors the channel. But I'll show you a couple of them because they just shed. This one was the last to shed. He shed last night. And, oh, buddy, look at you. He's a little cinnamon guy. Let's see if, there we go. Oh, cinnamon, probably vanilla also. This one. Face still looks a little bit swollen from the shed, but maybe not. It looks more so on camera. So that little guy, and then got this really pretty. I got two cinnamons. I got a normal. I'll show you this little vanilla right here. This is just, I mean, look at this. This is just one phenotypic gene. This vanilla, so pretty. This super bright. Hold on, I'm going to try to bring the face around. There we go. Oh, little face. Cute little face. And then I'll show you the one that I'm keeping that I'm very excited about. Because this was my goal when I raised those two snakes up from babies, and I was going to pair them, my goal was to get a little beautiful sunset out of it. And unfortunately, this camera that I'm using right now is not great with colors. Oh, you know what is though? This camera. Look at that. Wait, hang on. Sorry. Let's get the focus back in. Dang it. Sorry, guys. Yeah. There we go. Oh, shit. There we go. How cute is that little sunset? So I'm learning on this particular live stream that I should be using this camera. I need to go back to this camera. Oh, and also it's blurry now. I can tell by the yeah, I can tell by my what do you call it? The thing that tells me how many bars I have. So that's a bummer that it went blurry. So I'm going to just put her back. Sorry about that, guys. We've tried two things so far to fix this. I did a test live stream with Patreon last week, and so now we're off to a third solution that I'm going to try for next time, and that third solution should fix it. All right. Yeah, the scotch was being opened. Nintendo girl. Good good ears. Good ears. All right. So anyway, I'm really happy about that clutch. All those babies look awesome, and I'm excited about the one that I'm keeping, and the other little ones seem like sweet little snakes. So we're going to get them shed tested and start working with them soon, giving them some stuff in their little tubs, you know, some enrichment stuff, things like that. Get them going. Let's see. Safra is saying, I'm in Vegas looking to purchase a Mexican black king snake from a good snake breeder. Any recommendations? No, sorry. I'm sure there are breeders of MBKs in Vegas. I just don't know any. Does anybody know any? Put it in the chat if you know of a Mexican black king snake breeder in the Las Vegas area. Kathy, thanks for the super chat. How do cinnamon and vanilla colors age? Really nicely. Vanilla is, well, I'll show you. Here. Were you just trying to get me to pull the adults out? Here's Evie. So vanilla jumbles the pattern up a little bit. Evie's got some, hang on. So Evie has some nice colors. She's just bright, colorful. And she's got some, let's see if I can find them. She's got these bits of pattern that remind me of Teletubbies. Do you remember the Teletubbies? She's got a couple of those on her. So it does some weird stuff with the pattern, but it ages nicely. And she is just the sweetest snake. It'll be interesting to see how the babies are, because both Evie and the Sundance Kid are just the nicest snakes. They don't seem to want to come out all the time, so I don't bring them out all the time. But, you know, they tend to sit in their hide. But when I do bring them out, they just do really well. They're just really cool snakes. So the Sundance Kid, check him out. So cinnamon I like a lot because it's, I like dark snakes. And cinnamon is a dark gene. Hey, buddy. What are you doing back here? So here's this guy. So phenotypically, Evie is just vanilla, and the Sundance Kid is just cinnamon. And he looks like this. Such a beauty snake. This is Lucy, my snake babysitter. This is her favorite snake, and actually technically belongs to her because I gave him to her for her 16th birthday, but her mother is terrified of snakes, so he still lives with me, but when she's ready for him, she can take him. Hi, buddy. Do you want to crawl in the hat? You both do? All right. So we'll just keep them out for a minute. They made a nice clutch. Took them long enough. I thought they were going to go last year. And Evie was a great eater as a baby, and then as a juvenile, she became not a good eater at all. So it took her a long time to get to where she was breeding size. And now she eats fine. She does just great. But you know, sometimes they go through a period where they just are not great eaters. You know, she would take a meal like once every 6 weeks or something. So she was never technically off food. She just wasn't going to eat most of the time, you know. But it's fine. She's healthy, and she ended up eventually getting up to size. And I'm never in a hurry. It's always, you know, on their terms. However they want to grow, I'll offer them food and you know, however they want to do it. But these are two of my sweetest snakes. So it's going to be interesting to see if the babies take after the parents. Okay. Let me make sure I haven't missed any super chats before. Oh, maybe I did. Nope, I think I got them all. Hang on, just checking. Okay. Yeah, Deb, this hat is a super strong hat. It's fully hard. You know, most of my hats are like fedoras that are soft, but this is a, you know, it's a solid hat. Not a comfortable hat to wear. But it looks kind of cool, and I bought it specifically for snakes. I've worn it out maybe 3 times. But it's for the snakes because it would hold them. Okay, so Phil says Maxine weighs, I'm guessing Maxine is his snake, or I know that's his snake because Maxine weighs 788 grams at 11 months. I have in stock weaned small and medium rats. Size-wise, the medium rats, I believe, are way too big. You believe correctly. So going by 10% of her body weight, we're looking at a 78-gram feeder, which I don't have. Unless I combined a smaller feeder with a weaned, the small rats are physically so big, I just don't think Maxine could handle it if you're going by physical size. So I'm thinking I should do a small plus a weaned, which I've never done 2 feeders in a row, or should I just feed her normal Thursday morning and then Monday morning feed her again? Phil, you're way overthinking this. So she should be on small rats right now. So on her feeding day, offer her a small rat. That's it. Don't even worry about it. You don't have to. I talk about this in the most recent ball python care guide that I came out with last week, I think. You don't have to Once they get up to that size, that 10 to 15% of the body weight rule no longer applies. So that's something that applies to baby snakes, basically. Baby and juvenile snakes. But once you're at 700, 800, 900 grams, you're not necessarily feeding them 10% of their body weight. Now, once they're at 900 to 1,000 grams, you could get them on mediums. And at that point, that's about 10% of the body weight. But then they're going to grow on medium rats, and you don't ever need to feed them anything more than a medium rat, you know, a female ball python. So I talk about that in the care guide video. That's really important. A lot of people stick with that rule the snake's whole life, and that's way too much food for the snake. So your snake will grow on smalls. You know, just give her a small every couple of weeks, and she'll eventually get to 900 grams, 1,000 grams, something like that, and then move her to mediums every couple of weeks, maybe every 3 weeks at that point, if you want to, and they'll do fine. So, but don't overthink it. Just hand her a rat. So, and also remember that in the wild, they're going to find a meal whenever they find a meal, and it might be a big thing and it might be a small thing, and it might be just right. It's all just different. So no big deal if they eat something a little bit smaller than they're used to, a little bit bigger than they're used to, not a huge deal. But just so that you get it within the range. And right now your snake is just on small rats. Don't even worry about the weight to size to weight ratio. They're just on smalls until they're big enough to take a medium. Okay. We got a couple super chats here. Vivian, thanks for the super chat. What's the best way to find a snake, baby or adult, that has a chill personality? I like fancy morphs, but I want a cool personality more. Yeah, it's, probably just going to a show and holding snakes. You never know, because the snake is at a show. They're however they are on that day in that moment, and they're probably cold. When they're colder, they're a little bit more chill, no pun intended. But that, and then talking to a breeder that that you trust, not a big huge breeder, because a big huge breeder doesn't necessarily know every individual snake. Nothing wrong with that. They just have a lot of snakes, and they're not going to know everyone to be able to tell you. But small breeder, like me, I have a very small production, so I know all my snakes, and I know which ones have different personalities. So somebody that you trust, or just go to a show and handle some snakes, I think that's the best way to do it. Brady Bentley, thanks for the super chat. Where's your wife? She's still not here. No pressure, though. I told her no pressure. Don't worry about it. I want her to get her work done. Okay. There's many creative people in this group. This crowd of snake lovers inspires me to keep working on all my projects. Great collection of humans. Yes, I agree, Brady. They are a great collection of humans. And Brady, I'm so glad that you're here and you're into this, because as we've talked about before, you're not the snake guy in this group of Amy and Brady Bentley. You tolerate the snakes, and there's some I think that you're getting to like, but you've been such a great supporter of this channel, and I appreciate you being in the chat all the time. And you fit in so well with this group of creative people. Kind and creative people, Thanks for that super chat, man. Alan David, thanks for the super chat. My daughter Catherine wants to know if Kent will ever hold one of your snakes. He held one of Clint Laylaw's snakes, so you never know. Although he was kind of tricked into it. I don't know. I don't know if he'll ever hold a snake. Maybe it's always possible. It's always possible. You guys, I'm reading this because this is a compliment on you. It's not so much a compliment on me, because I think it's a compliment on the audience here. Willie's saying, Brady, I told Bob today, I've seen a lot of different YouTube audiences over the years, and the Green Room Python group is by far the kindest and nicest. That's so nice. I love hearing that. I've heard that from a number of people. Garrett Hartle told me that once. It was so nice. I had promoted Garrett's Patreon to my audience at one point, and a bunch of people joined his Patreon. And Garrett told me the next week, he goes, the people that just joined my Patreon are the nicest people. He goes, you've got the nicest audience. So I love you guys. I love how respectful and non-judgmental everybody is. I don't know why this channel has attracted those folks. Although, I mean, obviously I try to be non-judgmental, but I just appreciate that everyone seems to be that way. My Patreon, my Discord is really nice. Like Discord is pretty, you know, I've been in a lot of Discords and it's so much infighting, and it's just not like that on the Green Room Pythons Discord. So I appreciate you guys so much. We just have a lot of people who know how to behave and get along and be nice, you know? So anyway, I appreciate that. Okay. Look at these two snakes. These are, you know, this is another thing that these snakes don't choose to come out on their own, hardly ever. But the fact that when I bring them out, they're so happy to just, you know, hang out. Evie's just on my lap right now. She's not trying to go anywhere. Sundance Kid is just happy right here. She's not, you know, it's interesting because this is his girlfriend here, and it doesn't matter. It's just an adult male and an adult female, but she's not in breeding mode. So I think there's probably different pheromones that she gives off where he's not going crazy. You know, I'm just guessing. I don't really know about that. I'm sure there are people that know much more about that and the different pheromones, but I'm just kind of guessing that that's what's going on. It's so nice. You guys are saying that you guys are giving me nice compliments in here, and I appreciate it. That's nice. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I get to turn a page. All right. We answered Phil's question. Phil is a very conscientious keeper. And we've talked a lot about Maxine. And oftentimes I've told Phil before that he's overthinking it. And that's not, you know, that's something that a lot of us do. We just overthink things a lot because we want to provide perfect care for our snakes. So Phil, when I said you're overthinking it, you know, it's something that we all do. So it's tough though, when you're trying to figure out what the best thing is for your snake, and what are things that, you know, what is something that you need to think a lot about and really figure out, and what are things that you don't need to, and, you know, so anyway, it's a good question. And feeding and how to feed and what's appropriate to feed is always a good thing to go over, because it's a big, there's another one in here that's coming up that is another one that I go over quite a bit, but you can never go over it enough. So that's coming up, I think, if I remember right. Okay, Barbara asks, what snake would you most like to see in the wild? I've got a couple, but I would say the number one snake to see, if I ever saw an adult female king cobra building a nest, I'd probably cry. Like that, you know, I mean, just seeing a king cobra in the wild would be incredible. But this behavior that they do, there's no other snake in the world that we know of that does that. They're literally picking up stuff in their mouth and going, you know, leaves and whatever, picking it up in their mouth, going over and building a massive pile, massive nest that they're going to then lay their eggs in. I want to see that. But black-headed python, I'd love to see in the wild. Part of this is like, if I saw a black-headed python in the wild, that means that I took a trip to Australia. I want to go to Australia. Love to see an eyelash viper in the wild. So there's so many. Okay. Oh, are you guys, I'm seeing that Amy might be home. I didn't see, Brady must have, I didn't see it, but Brady must have announced that Amy's home, which means that she's going to jump on at some point, but I hope that she gets food and does whatever she needs to do. Again, no pressure. Jake, the eagle has landed. It's so funny. Amy is the eagle in this scenario. Okay. Hi, Amy. So I'm guessing Brady's upstairs watching this on the TV with the sound on. Amy's probably in the kitchen. Hi, Amy. Everybody else says hi as well. See you when you get here. Okay. Barbara asks, what has been the scariest moment or scenario of all your herping trips, animal related or otherwise? You know what? She says, and babysitting Dave doesn't count. That's the scariest thing, is babysitting Dave. I tell you what, this last, for those of you who saw the video of my trip to the West Indies, this thing where we went to this bat cave, and I talked about how dangerous it was. I wasn't being dramatic. This was the scariest thing that I've done, and I shouldn't have done it. But it was, we went down this long trail to get to this bat cave. This is part of the reason that I made the decision to do it, because we had already done this sort of treacherous hike to get there. But then the last thing to get to this bat cave is walk across these planks. There was 2 planks that were 6 inches wide each. It was a 2x6, just 2x6 planks. And one of them you couldn't use because if you stepped on it, it just rolls. So that one's gone. So it's one 2x6 plank that goes from one rock to a rock in the middle to the net, from land, which is just a rock, to this rock in the middle to the other side, which is the cave. And there's about a 15-foot drop into crashing waves if you fell. And those waves would crash you into these jagged rocks. So you wouldn't be dead if you fell, but it would mess you up. And so I decided to do it. And I don't think the video showed close to how scary that was, and it also wasn't that hard. I have pretty decent balance, but the thing is, if that piece of wood, if that plank had rolled, or if I had lost my balance or something, there's just nothing you could do. You're just in those crashing waves. And I got to the other side and I was like, man, that was like, I shouldn't have done this, but there's no other way back than doing it again. So I'm going to have to do it again because there's no way to bring a boat in here and they're not flying a helicopter down to get me. So I'm going across that plank again. Spoiler alert, I survived. So I think that was the scariest thing that's ever happened. And I really haven't, I'm trying to think if there's any animal. There hasn't been a scary animal thing for me. I haven't done a ton of trips. I'm not like Dave Kaufman, who's been on a million trips around the world and had tons of experiences. So I'm still sort of new to this. And I'm also pretty careful. I feel like I usually make decent decisions, but I didn't make a decent decision on that Batcave thing. So let's see. You guys, our very own Amy Bentley has joined. Hi, Amy.
Hi, guys.
Your mic doesn't work. We don't have sound. Such a bummer.
Dude.
All
right. Well.
Okay, I'm gonna drop you off, and I'll bring you back. Wave at me when you think you might have sound. Oh, you heard her? It's just me? Oh, Amy. Okay. It's me then.
Hey.
Oh.
Can you hear me? Do I have to be in headphones?
Because of the mic that I'm using. It's attached to my camera.
Hi, guys. I'm so glad you can hear me and Bob can't. This is kind of fun. I could tell you so many secrets right now and you'd never know.
What if I put, hang on a second. Talk to them for a second, Amy.
Hi guys.
And Amy, you can talk about me because I'm not going to hear it until tomorrow.
I literally just said that. Hi guys. How's it going? Sorry, my comments over here on this screen. Hi guys. Hi. Dirtbird, on weeks where we do live streams, he does not put out a produced video on Monday. This is technically this week's video is the live stream today. So.
Hi.
Oh, you guys want me to tell you secrets? Wait, can you hear me now, Bob?
I can hear you now. But yeah, go ahead and tell them secrets. Go ahead. What were you going to say? Say your secret. What is it?
I'm not going to start sharing secrets.
All right.
Hi guys. Hi.
Okay. So the live stream is so much better. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you got your work done. Did you get your work done? We're not going to talk about work, but did you get it done? Just yes or no?
Mostly.
Okay, great. We'll call it a yes.
Enough. I got enough done.
Good. Okay, so it's so good to see you, Amy. I'm going to remove you for now. We'll have you right back in.
Love you guys.
Holler at me if I miss a super chat. I've been really good though. I've been really vigilant with the super chats since you haven't been here.
I'm very proud of you.
Okay.
Is that true? Chat? Has he been very vigilant?
I've been pretty good. We're calling you the Eagle, by the way, because the Eagle has landed.
I heard. Yes.
You heard that? You heard all that?
Walking down the hall when you noticed that somebody had said that, somebody was commenting that Brady must have said that I was home or whatever.
Right.
And you said, I bet that Brady's in the living room with the sound on and Amy's in the kitchen. And that was 100%
but you weren't in the kitchen.
Accurate.
Oh, really? No, you were in the kitchen at that time?
Yeah, when you said it, I really was. We were both laughing so hard.
I know what's up over there. All right. Bye, Amy.
Yeah.
Okay. Cut her off right in the middle of her bye again. All right. Let's see. Where are we at here? Okay. Barbara's next question is, my 8-month-old Hog Island boa is eating frozen thawed adult mice. My breeder says they get more nutrition from older mice than from younger, less developed rats. What are your thoughts on this? And at what point should I move her over to rats? She's 165 grams right now, so still relatively small. Yes, I agree with that. Mice develop bones fast, or not faster, but you can have a smaller mouse that's got more development, bone development, which means more calcium, stuff like that, than an equally sized rat. Up to like rat pups still don't have fully developed bones. They don't have as much calcium. They're drinking milk. They don't have a lot in their bellies. Whereas mice of that size have bones and they're already eating mouse food that's not just milk. So there's a lot more nutrition in a mouse of that size. The reason that we try to get ball pythons on rats as soon as possible is because they're such notorious picky eaters, and we want them to eat rats as they grow up. So we sacrifice a little bit of nutrition by trying to get them onto rat pups just so that they'll eat rats. But you've got a boa there, and Hog Island boa, which is probably going to eat anything you put in front of them. So there's no rush to switch that snake to rats. Really, I would say that once a weaned rat is at the point that a rat is at a weaned stage, they're eating rat food and they have more solidified bones. So that's a healthier snack than a rat pup. So once they're on weaned, which is about the size of a jumbo rat or a jumbo mouse, weaned rat is about the size of a jumbo. Maybe a jumbo's a little bit bigger, but at that point you could be feeding them jumbo mice, weaned rats, small rats, stuff like that. If they're on small rats, maybe you feed them a couple jumbo mice if you want to, but they can easily go back and forth. They're probably not going to get hooked on mice. Ball pythons tend to sometimes. So, FYN Pfizer, when should one switch ball pythons to rats? You know, I've started ball pythons on rats. If they're a little bit bigger, if they're tiny out of the egg, I'll start them on hopper mice. But a lot of times I've started them on rat pups. But you know, once they've had a couple meals, 2 or 3 hopper mice meals, I offer them a rat pup, and I never have a problem switching them at that point. They're just happy to eat anything. At that point, they've figured out how to eat. They've had a few meals that are easy, and now we're going to give them a rat pup. So pretty much any time, you know, hopefully if you get a new snake, hopefully that snake has had 5 or 6 meals. They're good to eat a rat pup, you know? Okay. Oh, speaking of, you guys, we're gonna feed some snakes. So let me get some hot water going. Amy, I'm gonna bring you on to entertain the people. Amy's eating right now. No, it's okay. I'm gonna wait till you're done. She's got this is so funny. I see a little tiny thumbnail of her, right? And so I couldn't really tell, but she's eating something and her mouth is just full of I almost brought her right on. That would have been so funny. You're good now? Hi, Amy. Oh my gosh, you're so professional. I'm gonna get some. I can't hear you because I don't have my headphones on. I'm gonna get some rats in warm water. They're all thawed out. I'm gonna get stuff in warm water. You know, talk if you want to. Yes.
Okay, great. Guys, okay, so I saw Red Sonia. I saw you ask for it. So for those of you who don't know, Bob and I have been besties for a while. We met at a Renaissance fair, my local Renaissance fair here in Southern Utah. And his first Renaissance fair at my local Renaissance fair was also my first Renaissance fair performing. I'm a belly dancer. Last year, his schedule of events changed and they changed the dates of my local fair and he was not able to come. And all of my dancers knew I was really sad, so they made a cardboard cutout of Manus O'Toole. That is Bob's Renaissance fair character. I'm gonna grab him. Hang on. Okay, this is my cardboard cutout of Manus O'Toole. Here he is. He's a little shiny. He's juggling his like little spear things. That's why they're there. But this is Manus O'Toole, you guys. Okay, I'm gonna put him. You guys never saw that ever. Okay, never saw it. He's never gonna rewatch this. I promise. Oh, he's starting to miss. He's like missing so many super chats now. It's good, right? I know. I was really sad. Just like the Renaissance Fair is great, but I am contracted because I'm local. I'm contracted to be there all day. So it's always nice throughout the day when I can go like get lunch and hang out with Bob and still have my presence as a belly dancer at the Renaissance Fair. So last year when he couldn't come, I was like really sad and everybody knew I was really sad about it. So like we were getting ready for our first set and my sister showed up and brought that out. Hi, you're back.
Hi.
I was just
I
telling
hate
secrets about you.
I hate that I can't tell what's going on, that I can't hear what's happening.
It's really great. Nothing happened. I did nothing. We've been sitting here sharing secrets.
Oh,
That's all.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Azara's asking how Dodger's doing.
Dodger's doing well. Dodger, when I brought Dodger home, Dodger was having a small issue with stuck shed on her tail. And that is an issue that will not go away. Every single time she sheds, it is kind of a nightmare to get the shed off the tip of her tail. It did actually cut off the circulation. It was so bad when I first brought her home that it cut off the circulation and a little teeny tiny tip of her tail actually fell off. And it's weird. It's just a weird thing that I'm struggling with her. Other than that, though, she's really good at target training. She doesn't like to be picked up, but she likes to be out of the enclosure. But she also won't come out of the enclosure onto my hand. So when I try to pick her up, she kind of freaks out for a second. But after that, she is really happy to just do whatever. Just do whatever. She's super chill. She's
She's
real
such a
cute.
cool snake.
I like
And
her.
that tail thing,
She's
man,
real
I
sad
thought for
you've never
sure.
come to visit her.
I know. I'm going to soon. We got a couple super chats that I have to get to, but you know, that tail thing, I thought for sure was just going to clear itself up. It's so crazy that you're still dealing with that.
Mhm. It's
Um,
every single time she sheds. Every single
yeah,
time she sheds. I have to help her get the shed off the end of her tail.
so crazy. All right, I'm gonna jump you out for a second and
Goodbye.
oh, look at you got a full goodbye in. Okay, Amanda, thanks for the super chat. Does anyone have any experience giving their ball pythons African soft furs? Snake Discovery has them, so I thought about trying it, but I figured I'd ask here. I have some experience with that. I've done it. There was a time that the inspector went off food for a really long time. It was during breeding season, but then he was just off food. It seemed like he was just at the point where his digestive system had shut down and wasn't telling him it was time to eat. So I acquired an African soft fur. On the down low because they're illegal in California. But at the time, there was someone that I knew that was breeding them. They're not anymore. But I put that African soft fur in his cage. I'm trying to remember if this was frozen thawed or live. I think it was live. I think he only had live. So, but I had tried live mice and live rats with the inspector. He had no interest. This was 3 or 4 years ago. Put that African soft fur in, and he went for it immediately. So if you have access to African soft furs and you have snakes that are not eating, I highly recommend that you try that, because there's something about the smell of that animal that that gets them going. I don't know what it is. You know, people always assumed that it's because that's their natural food in the wild, but we've since learned that African soft furs don't live in most of the areas that we have ball pythons. And also, whatever their natural food is in the wild, these snakes have never been in the wild, so they're eating what we give them, you know. But there's something about the smell of an African soft fur that triggers their feed response. It's pretty great. Barbara, thanks for the super chat. Let me know if you have a question to go with it. Maybe you do. Let me scroll down. Let's see. Okay, so let me know, Barbara, if you have a question to go with that super chat. But thanks for that. Okay. So here's what's going to happen. In fact, we could probably do this with the young ones right now. Let me just make sure that I'm feeding the correct snakes. I know that I'm feeding Pip and Harry today. So, shoot, hang on. Trying to get into my Husbandry Pro here. So Pip and Harry are being fed today, and we'll do this like we did last time. I don't know if it was the last live stream or the one before that, where I got them out and had them in my hand while I fed them. That's kind of fun to do. So let's tell you what, we'll just sort of do that right now. Oh, Barbara. Barbara says, just wanted to say thanks for answering my question about my boa. Oh, that's nice. You didn't have to super chat to say thanks. You could have sent me a message on Patreon, but I so appreciate the super chat. That's really nice. Yeah, Barbara, I think your boa is going to eat anything, so feed it what you want. But generally, well, not generally, mice develop earlier than rats do. I don't mean earlier. I just mean at a smaller size than rats do. So for most snakes, this is good advice for most snakes, that you just keep them on mice, you know, because it's It's nutritionally more dense than rats when they're smaller. But with ball pythons, we want them on rats as soon as possible. Kathy, thanks for the super chat. Same thing. If you got a question to go with it, let me know, and I will try to. Oh, was this your question that you asked right here? Is this? Wait, I think you're asking somebody else about temps. Do their temps stay in the 70s? Can they handle lower temps at night? You might be asking somebody else that. Hang on, I'm just trying to put things together. So I don't know what you're talking about. If it's ball pythons, I don't do night drops for ball pythons. They can handle temps in the 70s. It's fine, but if they're digesting, they need higher temps than that. But they're okay. You know, my room is in the mid 70s, and I have ball pythons that'll sit out in this room all day long. So I don't know if that was your question, though, if that was directed at me and if you were talking about ball pythons even. Serpent Snaps. Kent was here when I started the live stream, but he was walking out the door and he left. He always tries to leave before the live stream starts. You know, he's off work at that point. But I will tell him that you asked about him. Because it is annoying that he doesn't just pop his head in, right? He's kind of lazy as workers go. And James is asking, can you turn off the heat bulb at night for ball pythons? Because I live in the UK. I wouldn't. I talked about this in my ball python care guide that came out last week, that ball pythons don't need night drops. And the fact is that if you look at the weather in West Africa, you'll see that the weather drops a little bit. The temperature drops a little bit at night, not a ton, but a little bit. But ball pythons are in their burrows generally, and that burrow stays at a steady temperature. So they're not experiencing many night drops, but it's best to allow them to have the heat so that, you know, if they want to be a little bit warmer in the evening or early morning when they're generally awake, they might wake up in the middle of the night too and want to wander around. They've got that option of having some warmth. So this is why I don't have a lighted heat source. I want to be able to turn the lights on and off at night so they have a night cycle, but their heat comes from a non-lighted source, so that stays on 24 hours. And then they can choose. They've got their, you know, their gradient. There are some other species of snake that benefit from a night drop, especially in breeding season. Ball pythons aren't really one of them. They do just fine with you know, any kind of, what was I trying to say? They do just fine with a steady. What I meant was a steady heat day and night. All right. Oh, Spencer's here. The Royals Project. You guys, we can start the live stream now. I've been just babbling and saying nonsense, waiting for Spencer to show up. And now we are over 2 hours in. Spencer's here, so we can get started. Great. I'm going to grab, let's start with Harry. Let's do this. We'll throw the B cam up. Boom. See if I can get this to get to Harry's situation. We'll get him out. See where he is. Oh, good guess. Oh, Harry's in shed. That's right. He's not in deep shed right now, so I think he'll be okay, but I think Harry's happy to eat anytime. He's gonna be fine to eat. Oh, you know what I should have done first is got his food. That was kind of dumb, but that's all right. Okay, hang on. Let's get back to this. Okay, and then I'll answer the super chat, and then we'll get his food. Ladies and gentlemen, Harry Vanderspiegel, not super bright. He's going to be a little bit brighter in the other camera. But hang on. Oh, come on. Technical difficulties during a live stream is the most annoying thing. There we go. There's Harry. Okay, Candy is asking, just because I'm feeling the love and to remind everyone to think about sending another donation to Lori Torini to help the big snake rescue. Yes, that's a great super chat, Candy. Thanks for that. Yeah, if you guys saw my video on that big snake rescue of 67 snakes, that is they still need money. You guys came through. First of all, thank you so much, because you guys came through. There was a large influx of donations since that video came out. Really appreciate that. But obviously there's ongoing stuff. The good news is there are some snakes that are ready to be rehomed at this point, and they have homes for them already. They got a list of people that are ready to take snakes. So that's cool. And some of them are doing well, but there's also some that are going to be long-term veterinary bills, basically. I don't know if you know this or not, but animal rescues are not wealthy. So they definitely need the help. All right, here we go. I'm getting his food. We're going to see if he eats. I think he will, even though he's in shed and even though he's in my hands. Amy, I'm going to put you back on.
Hi.
Hang on, and I'm going to take this one off.
I definitely had a mouthful of food again. Quick.
I can't hear you. If you're talking to me, I can't hear you, but they can. So
I'm used to it, guys. He's always ignoring me. It's fine. Kathy, I saw you had a question about govies that you wanted attached to that super chat, but I don't know what your question is. So if you will put it in the chat, I'm looking out for it, and I'll make sure Bob knows when he gets back. James, yes, it is. Well, as long as you have it set up with like thermometers and everything, that's what I use in my enclosures. I have a little LED strip light that sits across the top of the enclosure, as well as either a radiant heat panel or a ceramic heat emitter. I actually use both depending on what kind of enclosure I have that snake in. So yeah, it is safe as long as you have it connected to a thermostat to leave the ceramic heat emitter on all night. Hi, Bob. Hey, Kathy has a question for you that was supposed to be attached to her super chat.
yeah?
My govies read such low humidity levels. My other instruments read 60% plus.
Oh, interesting. You may need to calibrate your Govee. That's a thing that you can do. I don't know how to do it, but I know that there's a way to do it. And I bet if you looked up a YouTube video, there's probably somebody that tells you how to do it. But sometimes those things just need to be calibrated. Thanks, Amy, for that. I'm gonna feed Harry.
Okay, bye.
Right. Bye. Okay. Let's see. What is the smaller? Harry gets a smaller rodent. There we go. Here's this guy. What do you think, pal? You want it? Can you see him tongue flicking? I bet you can. He may not. I mean, he's interested. He's tongue flicking, but he always grabs it right away. But this is a weird situation. He's in shed, and he's in my hand. So let me put him back in his cage. I don't want him to do something that he's not super comfortable with. He ate out of my hand, no problem, that last time. when we did that on the live stream. But I think the fact that he's in shed is probably. So let me just put him back and here. And we'll see what happens. I mean, I know you can't see him very well, but. You take it, pal. This is a snake that doesn't need to eat off tongs. I've always fed him off tongs, but oh, there he goes. Just really slowly took it, but he's still wrapped around my pinky finger. I'm going to try to carefully slide him off. There we go. I know you probably didn't see that, but he's got it in his mouth, so that's good. Anyway, he's always eaten off tongs, but he doesn't need to. I could just leave it in there and he would take it, no problem. All right, I'm going to grab Pip really quick, and then I'm pretty sure Pip will have no problem with this. Let's see if we can find her. Ooh, I found her right away. She's been very adventurous lately. She used to spend all her time in her little jewelry box hide that Amy gave her. And she happens to be there right now, which is kind of rare over the last few weeks. She hasn't been using it as much. She's kind of been in all these other different hiding spots. Okay. I am back. Here we go. Say hi to little Pippers. Little Pipperoo. She's been such a great ambassador snake over the last few days with people who have come over and been a little scared of snakes. And she's been the one to get them over their fear because she's so sweet. I will say, this is kind of a spoiler, but not really. I shot probably the best introducing people to snakes that we've had so far. I'm very excited about it. I mean, they're all good. I think I'm always excited about them when I do them, but this one was great because my friend Rita has a phobia. She came over with a phobia of snakes, not just uncomfortable with them. She serious phobia. And I always find it interesting how people feel about snakes, and their fears are all different, and the root of their fear is different. And so Rita felt more comfortable with a bigger snake. Harry and Pip scared her more because they're shorter. She felt like a bigger snake is longer and she could touch the back end and the head is further away from her. So that was what was going on in her head. So we skipped Pip for a little bit. I did eventually bring her out, but this is the more intimidating snake. She went to Kata before she went to Pip because this was more intimidating. So super interesting. Let's see if Pip will take this without it being, it's probably sitting at 85 degrees right now. Let me just see if she'll take it. She probably will. She doesn't really need the heat because she eats, oh yeah, there we go. She would eat carrion in the wild. She would just find a dead carcass in the wild and start eating it. So she doesn't really need it heated up. And she is, Nifter's Critters, she definitely is getting big. She's getting surprisingly big. Like I'm used to her being just the tiniest thing, and Harry is smaller than she is, my little house snake. But she's also getting into her adult size. She's not quite there yet, but still just eating fuzzy mice, small fuzzies. Harry's eating large pinkies, and Pip is eating small fuzzies, and there's only a slight difference between the two in size. But Harry is not a socialized snake. He's not comfortable with being handled. He's still, when he's not in shed, he still will eat, when he's in my hand, based on the one time that I did it on the live stream. But Pip is never concerned about anything, has no fear. and I think is as comfortable to eat right here with me hanging on to her as she is in her cage. Like just whatever. Candy's Critics, yeah. I could publish a book on the snake fear encounters. It's really interesting to me too, because I mean, I love teaching people about snakes and helping them to feel better about them than they did. But I'm also really fascinated by where fear comes from and how that works in the brain, and how we can get over it just by learning a little bit. Learning a little bit, we can get over our fear. And I've always made sure to have people that I don't necessarily want people that are phobic. If they have a real phobia where they can't even look at a picture of a snake, they're not going to come in anyway. But I'm also, I feel like I'm not going to get them over their fear. But Rita is a good friend of mine, and she's my neighbor. And she and her husband, we spend a lot of time together, but I never bring them into my place because Rita's so afraid of snakes. So she was willing to come in to do the episode, and she made big progress. I'm really happy about it. So you're not going to see that episode for a few weeks. I think 3 weeks from now it'll be out, maybe 4 weeks. I don't remember, but it's a really good episode. I'm excited about it. Okay. So we're just going to watch Pip eat here, I guess. She doesn't seem to mind. Let's see if I can move my stuff. I still have Patreon questions, by the way. We're just taking a little break from them. I am on my last page of Patreon questions, though. We're doing pretty good. We're not going to end this one at midnight. I'll tell you that. Red Sonia, thanks for the super chat. Bob, would you say you are discombobulated tonight? You know what, Red Sonia? I would say that I'm discombobulated often. I don't think that I would be diagnosed as ADD, but I think during live streams, I do have ADD moments because, sorry, I just got distracted by making sure that I hadn't missed any other. When you're trying to do a live stream, I'm trying to read comments and I have thoughts that I want to say, and then something else will pop into my brain. And so I just say it, and it's a little bit of an ADD situation. So yeah, I'm always discombobulated. And when I'm when I'm doing a video, I've usually written stuff out ahead of time, and I can refer to my notes. The way I do these videos is that I do write it out, but then I don't memorize what I wrote. I just write it out kind of as an outline, and then I try and I look at a bit of what I wrote, and then I'll talk, and then I'll look at a little bit of what I wrote, and I'll talk. And in those videos, I don't get as ADD, but sometimes I'll start going off script, and then I can fix that. Future Bob can fix that if I go a little crazy off not off topic, but just saying too much. A lot of times I'll say too much about something, but what's really tough in editing is when I have a video that's not planned out, pre-planned, because I do the same thing. I just shoot way too much and talk way too long, and it takes so long to edit into a nice, concise video for you guys, because I just want them to be digestible. They're all very long videos. I think anyway, 20-minute videos usually, which is pretty long for YouTube. Okay, so Pip's doing a great job on this. I'm going to try to get to my next question, but I've got stuff on my clipboard. Trying to do this without jostling her around too much. By the way, holding a snake like this while they're eating actually works well for them, even though it seems counterproductive. They tend to do really well walking a rodent into their mouth while they're hanging upside down. Seems like gravity would be doing the opposite of what they want, but with baby snakes, sometimes, especially assist feeding them, sometimes you just hang on to them and let them. A lot of times, if you just put them down, they won't necessarily eat. But if you just hang on to them carefully, it seems like it's a little easier for them to eat like this, which is kind of weird. Okay, what's my next question? Hang on, let me see where I'm at. Okay, so we answered the question about the Hog Island on the mice. That was so long ago. Okay, so now we're on to Zach's question. Hi, Bob. I asked in the last live stream. Oh, she's finishing. Great. I asked in the last live stream about my new ball python. He arrived at 105 grams at 8 months old. Wow. That's tiny, you guys. 105 grams at 8 months old. I recently took him to the vet, and it turns out that he was not only underweight, but also male, not female as advertised. The experience has made me more cautious about choosing sellers going forward. I did read, though, that the seller's morph market, reviews, which were numerous and mostly positive. Do you have any tips for better vetting breeders or spotting red flags, even when reviews seem solid? And just to be clear, I'm not upset about the gender mix-up. I absolutely love this little guy. He's up to 136 grams now. That's great. So yeah, it sounds like you'll be able to catch him up just fine. You know, it's tough because we rely on other people's experiences, and we hope that we're going to have the same experience that other people had. But that's one thing is you just don't know. And it doesn't happen a lot that a seller has a bunch of good reviews and all of a sudden they send you a bad snake. And I'm not saying this is a bad snake. A bad snake would be like a snake that's sick, that's in a little tub that's sent to you, and the tub absolutely reeks because the snake's been living in the tub rather than just shipped in it. You know, the snake can be shipped and it can poop in the tub, and that one poop can smell. But there has been situations, I just read of one where the entire tub reeked more so than just one little poop when it should, like the snake had been living in that tub. So anyway, that's a bad breeder situation. This is more of a thing where snakes can be missexed. You can easily missex a snake especially if you pop them and their little hemipenes don't come out. You could think it's female. You know, most breeders try to pop a few times just to make sure, you know, a few different times right before you send it, stuff like that, just to make sure. But it is easy to make that mistake. And then unfortunately, even though I don't like this idea of maintenance feeding a snake because you have too many babies, it's a common thing for breeders to do. And even if, you know, like I don't mind, you know, even if I had a bunch of babies and I didn't want them to grow super fast, I just might not switch them to rat pups as quickly. I might just feed them weekly on hopper mice, you know. But I think it's pretty common for breeders to move ball pythons to, you know, a couple feedings a month, maybe once a month of a small meal just to keep them going, but not to have them grow at all. And I don't like that, but it's pretty common to do. So it's kind of a bummer. Anyway, I kind of got off track of what your general question was. I guess my answer is that I really don't have any way that you can guarantee that you're going to have a great experience. You know, when you're buying on Morph Market, relying on those reviews are really important. But it's not a guarantee, you know. So that's a bummer, but it sounds like you have a healthy snake that's going to catch up, and that's great. That's good. At least it's not sick and, you know, whatever. There's a lot of obviously worse scenarios, and it sounds like you're happy with that snake, so that's good. But I have bought snakes before and then wished that I didn't. I'll tell you, Stella, Stella's one of my favorite snakes ever. Love that snake. Wish I had not supported that breeder in hindsight. I didn't know the breeder that I bought from. I bought it from a show and didn't know anything. Stuff came out later, and I wished that I hadn't handed that guy money. But I ended up with an awesome snake that I love. So you know, that kind of stuff happens. Okay. All right, so she's done with her meal. I'm going to put her back. So say goodbye to Pip. She did such a good job eating her food. Such a good little eater, and might be ready to go up a slight size at this point. Go up to large fuzzies instead of small fuzzies. She will be at when she's at her adult size, which she's getting there. She'll move on to hopper mice, and then she won't ever eat anything bigger than a hopper mouse. So she's going to large fuzzies, and then once she's beyond that, she'll go to hopper mice, and that will be her. That'll be the biggest thing. All right. Now we've got some bigger snakes to feed, and that'll be exciting. We got the inspector going crazy in the background. He's been going crazy for the last several weeks. He's in breeding season. His personality is a little more nuts. He comes out when his lights are on way more often. He's probably out 3 times a day during the day during this time, and he likes to fight with me. So not meaning that he bites, but he likes to bump me with his coils. If I go in here, you guys can see him pretty well. A lot of times I'll open the cage and he'll come up to me. He just backed up, but a lot of times he'll approach me and try to fight, which he's not doing right now, which is good. It's good. Hi, buddy. Oh, he's being really nice. That's great. I'm going to leave him alone though. So here's a snake that we're going to feed. Miss Stella, let me give you a better view. So we're going to feed. Wait. We're going to feed that snake right there. Hey, lady. Hi. We're going to give you some food. You ready for it? All right. I got to shut this, though. I can't let you out if I'm feeding you. You want to say hi? You're looking for food right now. She's got excited food eyes. She might, you know, I don't think they can necessarily pick up on the smell of those little tiny mice, but I could be wrong. So let me get her quail. And we'll give it to her. Amy, do you want to say hi while I'm grabbing a quail?
Hi.
Wait. Oh shoot. Sorry. This is the wrong.
I'm like, I'll just keep talking off screen. That's fine. Hi, friends.
There we go.
Willie, it is very entertaining to watch the inspector just have a lot of attitude. It's very silly. I like that the inspector thinks of Bob as like a competitor. I find it very funny. Hey guys. What's up? This is weird. This is always weird when he puts me on screen and I don't have anything prepared to say. I don't know what to do right now, guys. This is why a lot of you ask me all the time, like, why don't I have my own YouTube channel? Because you put me on camera and I'm like, ugh. Life is fine.
I think you would do great with your own YouTube channel.
Now I just like yours. I just like helping with yours.
And you're so good with it. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Tortoises are good. Jerry, we're thinking about getting Jerry a little, like, you know, those like shoe scrubbers so you can scrape the mud off of your feet when you come home. We're thinking about putting one of those on the side of Jerry's enclosure because when you scratch his butt, he like wiggles his butt. So we want to get him one of those so he can scratch his own butt when everybody's gone, when there's nobody there to scratch his little bum for him.
That's kind of fun. I like it. I will say that without telling the whole long story, because I want to feed Stella, but I do want to say that you had at one point you had a TikTok go viral, and you ended up with a ton of TikTok followers, and then you ended up not liking that. And
Oh
you were
yeah, I
like,
hated that.
yeah, but you did have a viral TikTok because of a workout device that you showed
Yeah,
on TikTok.
yeah, I
And then
did.
everybody was like,
I
I
did
want to
like
watch
a
her workout.
I did like a TikTok made me buy it thing, but I wasn't like a because I kept seeing ads for it, right? And in all of the ads, of course, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, you should buy this. It totally works. I lost like all of this weight." So I was like, "Well, maybe it could work." So I
Mhm.
bought it. And then I made a video about how I bought it, but that I wasn't like, this is not an ad. I don't know if this is gonna work. And then I had like overnight, I had like so many people following me. And I was like, oh my gosh, now every single person that's following me thinks that I'm like a workout TikTok. Like my TikTok is geared towards fitness. And that's
You
not the
could have been
case.
though.
Like
You
I'm
could
a
have
nerd. I like
changed
to
it.
sit my butt on my couch and play video games and Dungeons and Dragons.
All right, I'm going to try to feed Stella real quick before this quail cools off too much.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to warm up. I'm not going to hit this with the hair dryer. So we're going to give her sort of a not a superheated quail, which is a little bit risky to my hand. I'm using tongs that are this long, which is pretty long, but my hand is going to be warmer than the quail. I just don't want the scent in the room at this point yet. Well, does it even matter? It does. It does. Okay. We're just going to do this. I'm going to switch cameras. We're going to go to this. Let me let's drop this down a little bit. I don't know how much difference that makes. And we'll give her a target. See how she does with it. She's actually done, she and Echo both have done very well with their targets lately. I always expect them to strike at their target. A lot of times they've grabbed this target and they've broken it because they're so strong, they'll grab it and wrap. And I try to make sure they don't do that, but it's not the easiest thing to control all the time. So, hi, I'm right here. So here we go. You know what's happening. I know. You already know it. Why don't you follow this, not me? Oh my God, she's so look at this. She just she just knows that I have the food. Can you do this target? Do you think you could do this target? Just orient slightly to it. Just tell me that you know how to do your target. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to call this I'm almost about to. There we go. Oh, good girl. Okay, that's good enough. Jeez, crazy snake. All right. Smart enough to know that she knows where the food comes from. The target doesn't have the food. All right. That was crazy. I don't know if Was she off screen? I mean, I'm going to find this out tomorrow, but I'm just curious. Did you guys see her face the whole time, or did she come off screen? That's what I want to know. And then we have Maya up here that I want to give food to, but we're going to do it differently with Maya. She's going to eat 2 of those. And oh, it was on. That's cool. What is happening? Oh, so my audio might kick off here. It says that it's 10% remaining. Oh, can I plug it in though? Maybe I can plug it in. Hang on. Hey, Amy, did you just fill your mouth with something? Let's see. Let's just see. I don't know if it's, I can't tell. Oh, you did. Hi, Amy.
You can't hear me, so.
I can a little bit right now, but I'm going to walk away. I'm going to try to find something to plug this thing in so that we stay with the same mic. I don't know if it's going to work, but there we go. Okay.
Here we go. He keeps doing this to me. I don't have anything to say now. Guys, I don't have any breeding plans. I'm sure you saw that in the chat. I really wish I was going on the Minnesota trip. I'm going to miss all of you guys that are going a whole bunch. I'm real sad. I'm eating goldfish crackers because they are the best snack in the entire world. The actual best snack in the whole world. Yes, Amanda, yes. He really is. Every single time I put food in my mouth, he's like, hey, I'm going to bring you on, Amy. And I'm like, just
was it goldfish crackers? Is that what it was?
Obviously, it was goldfish crackers.
Amy's a big fan of goldfish crackers, you guys. If you ever want to give her a gift, it's goldfish crackers. One time she came over and I was like, I'm stocking up on I never buy goldfish crackers, but I got different kinds. I got different shapes. I got Star Wars goldfish crackers. And I was like, Amy, look what I got you. And she was like, oh yeah, I've got a backpack full of them. So, like, it was totally unnecessary to buy those, but you didn't have any Yoda and R2D2 shaped goldfish.
I didn't have any Star Wars goldfish crackers, but you guys don't ever have to worry about me. I will bring enough goldfish crackers for myself and also to share, because
and everyone else.
I can't just bring enough for myself, because if I only bring enough for myself, then I won't want to share with you, and I won't.
Yeah. Stella hasn't started eating yet. Okay. Thanks, Amy. I think we got the microphone thing solved. Bye.
Cool. Bye.
Okay. Let me answer a question. We're gonna get to feeding Maya. I'm just gonna place a couple of those quail for Maya to find, and we'll watch her do that. I don't know how to pronounce this. Nadruj. I think I'm saying it right. And I always think that these are probably references to something that I don't consume, some form of animated something, manga or something that I don't consume. So I don't know it. Nandruj says, hello, Bob. My question isn't as important as just a morph question, but if you were to breed a cinnamon genetic stripe male to a female, what would you choose as the female's morphs? Oh, I get what you're saying. Well, if you have a male cinnamon G stripe is recessive, so you would definitely want a female that's at least het for G stripes, so that you could get some visuals, and then whatever other genes you like, whatever incomplete dominant or dominant genes you like. Don't do another cinnamon, because it's best not to produce super cinnamons, because I think, I could be wrong, but I think shark mouth is the problem with super cinnamons. But there's some sort of genetic problem that can potentially happen with super cinnamon. But also, is that the 8-ball? Is Super Cinnamon the 8-ball? And they're all black. They're amazing, but you have a potential to have genetic problems. So I guess that's up to you. But the short answer is a female that's at least het for G stripes so that you can get some visuals, and then mixed with whatever other genes you like. Cinnamon is always great. That's always a good gene to have. You guys can put in the chat what you think would be a good pairing with that cinnamon G stripe. And then we only have one more question from Patreon. Let me make sure that I haven't missed any super chats because we haven't. Okay, I think. Yeah, we're good on super chats. Okay, great. All right. So Debbie is asking, I know it's a little late, but I'm still a bit confused on where to place the probes for my thermostat. This was the question I was talking about that I've talked about before, but it's kind of confusing. And so it's good to talk about it a number of times. So I'll continue reading her question though. Confused on where to place the probes for the thermostat and how to attach them safely. I tried some hot glue, but that came off really fast with the heat and humidity in the tank. I use little suction cups right now, which have the ability to be zip tied. I believe you mentioned we could maybe use silicone to attach them. I just want to make sure I have the probe in the correct place. Okay, so that's two different questions. As far as attaching, it's weird that your hot glue didn't work. I mean, mine are all hot glued underneath the heat source. And I've always thought about that it's possible that the hot glue could melt, but none of my heat sources are hot enough that it's melted the hot glue, but you definitely can use silicone and that shouldn't melt. That should be even stronger. So you can use that. You can do the zip tie thing. Let's see if I can. The best way to do this, maybe with Handsome Dan's. Oh no, it's got to be. Well, here the point is, I'm just gonna keep it on this camera. Oh, you haven't even started eating yours yet. Okay, so I'm not going into her cage. Here's what we're gonna do: switch cameras. Okay, without me sticking my hand in there and bothering Stella, see where her probe is right there. So that's just hot glued, but I could have used silicone. I could have, if I had something to strap it to, I could use a little zip tie, whatever. And that's sitting about halfway between where the probe is. I'm gonna walk away because Stella's seeing me now. So that's sitting about halfway between the ceiling and the shelf. And the shelf is her hotspot, right? So I want to try to give you a real world example, but I don't want to while she's figuring out where her food is right now. What I wanted to do is temp gun the exact probe and then temp gun the shelf. But until she starts eating, I don't want to get my hand in there. But the point is that, if the shelf, I don't know what the shelf is right now. It's probably 88 degrees, 87 degrees, something like that. And it might be a little different because the door's been open for a little bit. But the probe is probably, well, I'll tell you what it is. If I look at her thermostat, Stella's probe is set to 84. So I've set the probe at 84 because I figured out that at 84, it puts her shelf at 80, 88 or whatever it ends up being that's appropriate for her. What you could do is affix the probe to the shelf itself and, affix that probe to the shelf itself. And then it would be closer to, you could then set it at 87 or 88 and test it with your heat gun. Always test with this. Use this as your real measuring device. Put the probe wherever it needs to be so that your heat gun can read, But some people have fixed their probe really well so that it can sit on the shelf. The problem is it's not a problem. You just have to make sure that the snake doesn't push the probe away from the heat source. Because what happens is if that probe, like if Stella was able to grab that probe and then move it to the other side of the cage, that heat panel is going to try to make the probe hit 88. So it's just going to heat and heat and heat and never stop. And the probe's not measuring anything because it's too far away. Or if the snake is covering the probe all of a sudden, it could start heating up too much. So I prefer to not have the snake cover the probe, and I don't want the probe to move. And that's why I put it on the wall. But it makes it so that I have to do this little dance of figuring out what my probe has to be set at to make the actual snake's spot the right temperature, because the snake isn't going to sit on the wall where the probe is. You know what I mean? And hi to my mom, because mom is clearly here. Everyone is saying hi to her. Hi, Mom. Good to see you. You're late, Mom. We gotta start over. Lovely to see you, though. All right, let's take a look at what Stella's up to. She's back to getting her quail. The quail take longer to eat. I'm so glad that she's doing it from the head first. Sometimes they eat the quail the wrong way, and they can get it down, but man, it takes forever. So I hope that probe explanation helped a little bit. I'm going to be doing a video. Amy, are you trying to get my attention, or are you just playing? Hang on. Hi, were you trying to get my attention at all? No. Okay. You're just by yourself playing with. Okay. I'm just going to remove you.
How do you not play with
playing with a
slinky?
slinky. Sure. I get it. I don't even have to hear what you're saying. I totally get it. All right. That's Amy Bentley, you guys. That's, you know, that's who she is. There we go. I will not be able to pronounce this name. I know that I can't pronounce it, but thank you so much for the super chat, and hi to Bob's mom. Appreciate that. My mom appreciates it. I will definitely transfer that money straight into my mom's account. Mom, you were traveling? Is that I don't know what this conversation is, but were you traveling? We'll have to talk about that later. You guys must have done a road trip in the new fancy car. All right. My name is the same as your Woma. You probably mean my blackhead. So is your name Maya? Because it's probably not Banjo. I have another black-headed python named Banjo. I bet your name's Maya. Okay. Amanda, yeah, agreed. She's pretty great to hang out with. And Brady is as well, her husband. They're just, if you like nerd culture, you want to be at Amy and Brady's house. Confirmed. Yes, it is. Hi, Maya. Glad we figured that out. Thanks for that super chat. You know what, Maya? So many people say Woma, because I think a Woma python is a little bit more in the lexicon of people think of Womas because they're a little bit more popular. So it's common for people to call Maya a Woma python, and she is very close, so closely related to Womas. Oh, Mom, you guys were driving to Seattle and back. Okay, it's a long drive. Okay, so did we finish the Patreon questions? I love it. I was just going to see if we had anybody else to feed, but we're feeding Maya still, so I know we're feeding her. Oh, look at this, you guys. Hang on. Let's make that big. Let me adjust this camera so you can see what's happening here. Well, hang on. Oh, good. Okay. I don't know why the camera did that, but you got it, right? She's actually, once she got that, she's getting it down pretty quick. This is not a big meal for her. And you know, I'm giving her appropriate meals, but not great big ones. Echo is actually getting big meals right now because we're planning to breed Echo, start breeding her this season. I don't expect her to produce this season, but we're going to try. And so we're bulking Echo up a little bit, but we're not going to be breeding Stella. So she's just getting regular size meals and an occasional quail. She mostly gets rats. It'll be interesting to see, though. You know, Echo has been eating medium to large rats, which is the in-between size that Lane Labs has. You know, you can go from a medium rat to a medium/large and then to a large. And Echo's been eating medium/larges. I mean, when I say been eating, her last 2 meals have been that. So it's interesting because you think about the girth of a super dwarf reticulated python, much thinner than a ball python, but she's eating a larger meal than Kata eats. Kata is my fattest ball python right now. Larger meal than Damara eats. Damara is usually my fattest ball python. But they're longer. Their body is much longer. So, you know, you see these mainland reticulated pythons that can take down like a deer or an antelope type creature, a deer, I guess. And it's huge in their body, but they're so long that they can take that. You know, their body, they still have mass, but the mass is in length rather than in girth. So Brandiella, yes, I haven't given the details of this yet, but I am getting a mail from Garrett on a breeding loan from Garrett Hartle at Reach Out Reptiles. That'll be fun when that mail comes in. I'll make a video about it and we will disclose who that is and what the genetics are and everything. But he's going to send me that mail as soon as I'm ready, which will be very soon. So Stella has that quail in her neck. She's going to hopefully move up into her cage to start pushing that down. Once she's in her cage, I will close it because she is about, I would say, 1.5 minutes away from starting to look for another one from me. I'd like her cage to be closed before she starts asking for a second one. Because she could take a second one. You know, this isn't a super big meal for her. All right, but her friend upstairs, Maya, is going to take a second one. And when I say friend, I mean they've never met. But maybe they chat through the vents. I don't know. Okay. This is a good opportunity for me to just close this. Oh, nope. She quickly turned around like, what do you got for me? Okay. So now let's move this camera up here. Do a little bit of that, a little bit of that. Hi, there's my neck. And then we'll switch back to me for a second. So let's grab 2 of those quail and we'll just put those somewhere for Maya to find. We'll see how long it takes her to find them. Here's my prediction. It's not going to take long. All right, so again, same situation. She doesn't need heat. Black-headed pythons, people say that blackheads and womas don't have heat pits, so they can't sense heat, which is not true. They don't have heat pits, but they still can sense heat. They have a heat sensor, at least one behind their rostral scale. They may have more, but they definitely can sense heat, but they don't need it because just like Pip, the pygmy python, they eat carrion in the wild, so they don't mind coming across a cold, dead thing and just eating it. So Maya's right here pushing on the glass. So I'm going to try to open this side of the cage. Let me give you the other view. Was that a mistake? She's right in between the two sides. What I want to try to do is, oh yeah. So I got her attention and she came over here. What I'm trying to do is just open one of these sides without her noticing. Let me see if I can get her over here. Oh, I know what we'll do. We'll just let her sort of come out a little bit. Come out of one side. And then put one right there. And then maybe I want you guys to be able to see. Hey, don't look at me, lady. I am not delicious. Or I probably am, but I'm not food for you. Okay. So now let's just see if she's more interested in coming out or if she wants to go and find some food. Because my guess is that she can tell. I'm guessing that she can tell that there's food in the room at this point. We've had enough quail out that she can smell quail. And she does like to come out and roam around and hunt, but she always gets fed in her cage. So under normal circumstances, if I open the door, she's coming out. But I think now she realizes that I probably left something in there for her. So let's just watch for a second. Oh, you guys, my cousin Heather is in also. Heather, I would not have realized, like I would have seen your name, but probably not put it together. It's my cousin Heather until you said hi to Aunt Jean. It's so nice to see you. I'm glad you're in this live stream. All right. So I'm not going to show you guys this because we're all focused on Maya right now, but I just want to let you know that right now I'm seeing in the thumbnail that Amy has put the slinky on her glasses and she's playing with the slinky now on her glasses as though she were 8 years old. And she also just flipped me off. I just want to tell you that just so that you understand what kind of personality she is. She's that person. I'm gonna try to adjust this camera. Hi, Maya's gone completely past that quail. You know, this is a great example of something that I've been thinking about lately, and that is that a lot of people think that when you have food out in a room, the snakes can tell instantly. And oh shoot, I may have just screwed stuff up. Did I? Oh no, I didn't. Okay. And that they can find it instantly. And it's really not true. They really have to like get their tongue. This quail is right next to her. And she knows there's something somewhere in the room, but she's got a tongue flick on the quail before she knows where it is. So they're not, snakes aren't as precise as people think they are. You know, when you're heating rodents up in a room, that heat is going to permeate the entire room. Here, I can be kind of on camera. Wait, where am I at? There we go. I can be kind of on camera and you can still watch my app. So that smell is going to permeate the room when you're heating up the rodents. And then the snakes can tell that there's something and they'll be keyed up and be excited about it. But if it's a situation, especially when the rodent isn't warmed up and she doesn't have the benefit of using her heat pits, it takes a little bit for her to find the rodent or the quail. She prefers a mouse or a rat, so she's usually more excited about that and she finds those quicker. But she usually finds a quail real fast, and she hasn't yet. And it's right next to her. I want to do a test. I'm just going to touch her side, and my warm hand touching her is going to make her think that it's a food item, and she's going to, this is my prediction, she's going to kick my hand up as though she's trying to pin it against the wall so she can turn around and eat it. So here we go. Let's see. Can you see? See this? See her? That turned her around at least to give her, maybe now that it turned her head around, she'll get closer to where the, nope. All right, she's totally off the trail of this. Wait. Oh, there we go. She's off the trail of this one now. Oh, you can see that. So let's see if she, okay. This is this behavior, by the way, is really interesting because for most snakes, for most pythons, I should say, I don't know about in general most snake species, but with pythons, doing this means get off me, stop touching me. But with a black-headed python, they're used to going into a burrow. Ball pythons do this too, by the way, but black-headed pythons, I think, have it in their instincts more that they'll go into a burrow and they'll pin things against the wall and then turn around and grab them. So that behavior is her trying to pin my hand against the wall. And that's how I can tell if she's in food mode. When I open the cage, I just touch her back. And if she does that, that tells me that she's looking for food. If she doesn't do it, I can just, work with her right away. So it's kind of an interesting behavior that none of the other python species exhibit. And I don't keep Woma pythons, so I don't know if Womas do it, but I suspect they probably do. Somebody put it in the chat. If you keep Womas and they do that, I would be curious. Do you remember when I predicted that it wouldn't take Maya very long to find these? I was wrong. Although she is. Hang on. She on it? Sorry, I'm probably blocking the view here. She is on it. She's not as happy with quail as she is with rats and mice. So it's not giving her the food response that she normally gets, but she'll eat them for sure. She's just going to do it slower. Oh, and she's down into the hole in the hide. You know what we might do, you guys? We might just do this so that I can talk to you and we'll see how long it takes. Let's shoot. Kathy, great question. No, they can't. So Kathy's saying, I heat mine in baggies so they aren't wet. Can they still smell or sense them? No, I do the same. Mine are all heated up in baggies. And until you open that baggie, now this is what a lot of people think, is that as soon as you open that baggie, all the snakes in your room, whatever snakes you have in the room, know immediately. But they don't, because the scent particles have to travel through the air into the cage, you know, and then they can tell. And usually that doesn't happen until I turn a hairdryer on and start heating the head of a rodent. As soon as that happens, we got scent particles everywhere. Even if I can't smell it so much, you know, the snakes definitely can. So Maya's still not on that. Crazy. Let me see who else while we're sitting here waiting for Maya. Thought I might have other snakes to feed that we could do. Oh, the inspector, except he's not, he's refused his last 2 meals. So I could try him. I have a bunch of ball pythons to feed, but they're not in camera view, and I'm not going to feed them out of my hands. So we could try the inspector. He's probably not going to eat, though. Kathy, I give Maya quail instead of rats because black-headed pythons, this is a great question, by the way. Black-headed pythons in the wild are reptile eaters primarily. The truth is that they will grab and eat anything they can find. They're great eaters. But in the Australian outback, the majority of things running around are reptiles. So they're snake specialists. They love eating snakes. They love eating lizards. And if a little, you know, mouse ran by or something, they would snag that too. But it's like 90% reptiles. Reptiles are not very nutritionally dense. So the other thing about black-headed pythons that I think is really interesting is they're very successful hunters. They're active hunters, which almost every other species of python is an ambush hunter, where they're going to sit on a trail and just wait for something to come by. Black-headed pythons cruise all over the place, actively looking for food, and they're good at finding it. So they're eating several meals a week, and they're probably smaller meals, but they're eating way more often. They have a higher metabolism, but they're eating meals that are not very nutritionally dense. So a rat is very nutritionally dense. There's a lot of fat and protein on a rat. A bearded dragon doesn't have a lot of fat and protein. A snake, a tiger snake, which is one of the deadliest snakes in the world, a black-headed python would eat because it's immune to the venom. They don't have a lot of fat and protein on them. So so it's important to supplement. It's important to me anyway to supplement Kata's diet with animals that are not super high in fat and protein. So a quail is closer to the protein to the what's the word that I'm looking for? I don't have words right now, but it's closer in protein to a reptile than a rat is. So I always look and see what she ate last time, and then I feed her something else. So last time she ate a medium rat. Sometimes I feed her a small rat. Sometimes I feed her fish. So, oh, did she get it? She got it. Great. From the back. It's going to take her freaking forever to eat this. Because these are big meals for her to eat. They're not big to be in her belly. That's why she gets 2 of them. But they're a little bit bigger for her to consume because her face doesn't stretch as wide as other pythons, which is another very interesting thing about this species. But she's going to try to eat it backwards, which is just going to take way longer. It's not the end of the world. It's not going to hurt her. It's just going to take her like 45 minutes to eat that. So if anything interesting happens, I'll put the camera on her. Okay. Fizzy, thanks for joining us. This is a long live stream. Wait, have we been going? Oh my gosh. Have we been going 3.5 hours? It's almost 8:30. Unbelievable. I thought for sure this was not going to be a super long live stream. When you're feeding snakes, it's serpent snaps. Let's keep going. Wait, hold on. Good morning, Pause. I'm just going to say Pause because it's going to be easier for me to pronounce. Good morning from Germany. Good morning, Germany. I'm glad you guys are having fun. I can't believe it's gone this late. I have not even looked at the time. We still have well over 100 people in there. I would say, I tell you what, I'm gonna offer the inspector. You can see that. I don't think he's gonna take a meal, but we'll do that real quick. Oh, and Jenna has this. We got a super chat here. This is what keeps it going, is super chats. I know they can use the blood from some mammals that are immune to certain venom to make anti-venom. Do you know if they've ever tried snake blood? No, and it's that they're I think they use, I could be totally wrong about this, but they're using horse and sheep blood because I'm going to say it wrong. I don't even want to say it, but my guess is that they're using horse and sheep blood because that's a mammal, and that translates to we're a mammal. And so I don't think it would work to use the blood of what they need is the blood that's actively fighting, the blood cells that are actively fighting the venom. Somehow they use that to make snake venom, and I don't know enough about it to talk about it intelligently, but I don't think it works to just use the blood of an animal that's already immune. You know what I mean? It would be a whole different situation. So thanks for the super chat, Jenna. I can't intelligently answer that question, but I know it doesn't work. I'm sure they've thought of it before. All right, let me get a small rat that's thawed out. We'll heat it up with a hairdryer real quick and try to feed the inspector. And while we do that, Amy, you ready? Amy's got, she's got a slinky on her. Wait, that's not what I meant to do.
Hi, guys.
See what I mean? Slinky glasses. Slinky. I wasn't lying.
I was playing with this slinky and I was pulling it and I was like rubbing it on my forehead because I thought it felt weird. And then I accidentally let go one side and it got stuck on my glasses over here. So I just attached it over here. And then I was going like this. And then I realized that if I shake my head like this, watch this. If I go like this, it vibrates through my glasses and then it touches my ear bones back here. And in my head, it sounds like whoosh, 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 whoosh. So I've just been sitting here playing with this slinky on my glasses for a while. I have lots of toys.
Amy, here's the thing. I haven't been listening until I just put it up to my ear. I don't want to accuse you of saying things that are incredibly boring, but I am going to cut off this conversation so that I can feed the inspector. Were you talking about the draw of putting slinkies on your glasses and why that's a thing? Is that what you were talking about?
I wouldn't say it was boring. Look,
no, I wouldn't either.
The comments are saying that it is cool.
They love it. They love it, Amy. You're the star of this live stream. Okay, I'm going to feed the inspector now. Thanks for being awesome. Bye, Amy. All right. Here we go. Let's take a peek at Maya really fast. She's just... The lights are off now. Oh, she's going to struggle with that. She's got, you can't see it, but she's got the back end of the bird, but the wings are out of her mouth. So those wings have to fold backward. It's going to take forever. Really unfortunate. But it gives her something to do, right? It gives her an activity. So here we go. This may be not the most exciting feed, especially if he chooses not to eat. But we're going to try. And he just went back into his hide. But still, we'll try this. Hang on. This is basically the last thing that we're doing in this live stream, you guys. We're not going to go much longer. Plugging in my hairdryer here. So for those of you curious about prey sizes, food sizes, the inspector is an 8-year-old male ball python. He is full grown. Now he's lean. He doesn't have a lot of extra fat on him, but I don't want that for my males. I want them to be lean. This is the size that he gets. This is a small rat. It's not very big. It's not nearly as thick as the thickest part of his body. So small rat, it's the biggest they ever get. Okay. So now let me just hit this with a hairdryer. We're going to get the scent going in the room. Now everybody's going to go crazy. Got that. Just in case you're curious. It's 107. I'm going to go a little bit more. I want it to be about 130 because by the time he notices it, it'll be a lot cooler. That should be fine. 132. Great. Hang on, I'll switch the cameras in a second. You know, that's not something that you would do with a baby snake or a snake that's not used to things. But the inspector, if he's hungry, he'll take it if he's ready for it. I don't think he's going to eat, though. I'm going to say no on this one. So he's usually he's refused his last 2 meals, and it's pretty common for him to be off food for about 3 months during the year. I don't know if he'll go that long, but it's not a big deal. Again, this isn't because of a husbandry issue. It's because he's in breeding season, and I know this snake. I know that this is his cycle, sort of. So not a big deal. This rat will go to somebody else. He's actively breeding. This is another thing that I answer a lot for people have questions about. They think that because they have a male ball python, there's going to be a time during the year that they're in breeding season. They're not in breeding season until you pair them with a snake. There's no season out, if you're outside of West Africa, there's no season where a snake is like, oh, I'm breeding now, so I'm going to act crazy. I'm actively breeding him with females right now. So this is his season. And so he acts crazy. So if you're not actively breeding your snake, it's not breeding season. If they go off food, it could be a husbandry issue. So look at changing things up a little bit. Cruz, thank you for your super chat. And I see your question below. How old is your oldest snake? That would be Damara, and she's 9 or 10 years old. Yeah, so I don't have any old snakes really. So, all right, so he's not going to eat. I'm going to feed that to somebody else. I actually have a lot of snakes to feed tonight, but none of them that you're going to be able to see on camera. Lot of female ball pythons that are off food because females go off food during breeding season too. But I still offer every week or every 2 weeks to these females that are off food because they could potentially take a meal. And I want them to know that food is still available. There's still rodents around and they could still eat if they wanted to. So that hopefully they know that if they reproduce, there's an abundance of food for babies, because when the babies hatch, the mothers take a rat, they chew up the rat, and then they feed it as a bird would to each baby. I'm totally kidding. That's not what happens. That's a joke. I'm just kidding. Snakes, very interestingly, snakes come out of the egg ready to go. They don't need a lot of parenting, although they do get a little bit. We're finding out more about that. But basically, they come out of the egg self-sufficient. They're going to go find their own food. There's no chewing up rats and baby bird feeding to snakes. You guys, we did it. We went so much longer than I thought we were going. I appreciate you. Thanks for being on. For those of you who have been on the whole time, that's crazy, but I appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.